Hey guys, happy Friday. Can y'all hear me? Who is echoing? Is that me? I'm sorry. Let me take the other one off. Sorry, y'all. Amateurs. Okay, let me introduce our panelists for tonight. We have Mistaken, DAP, Enas, not to be confused with Inez. And my name is Shan Monet, formerly known as Shantae, and this is a Chic critique. You can unmute yourselves. We here. 4D. Everybody else went to sleep. I'm joking. So we are talking. Oh, we talk about side chicks and wives. Maybe that's why. I'm joking. That was a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. Oh, guys. So how's everybody doing? Small talk.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this weekend because I don't have anything that I have to do this weekend. So yeah, I get to just kind of chill out. So I'm excited about that.
We've got a long weekend up here, so I'm pretty excited about that.
You have a what weekend?
A long weekend, so we have Monday off.
Oh, good. Well, school is out next week for us.
Yeah, I'm just chilling. I know you get ladies are looking forward to your summer coming up.
Yes.
I'm just sitting back listening to some R&B quietly hopefully it doesn't come through on the stream so we can have us a live dope conversation with us four.
What are you playing?
I'm always here for it.
What are you playing? You said you listen to R&B. What year?
For the night.
What year?
Every time I close my eyes, the Lord that I found you.
I found you.
And you got me too, baby.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's why I listen and don't sing.
Okay. I got you.
You did a great job. You did an awesome job. I enjoy it. So, you guys, we are talking about. So, first of all, because this is, I want to talk about the first issue because it really doesn't go with the title, but I just want to mention it because she is a wife. So, I'm going to put up the first tab, which I see a lot. This has been really trending. And Mistaken, can you read it for me if you can, if it's big enough?
Okay. LeBron James' wife, Savannah James, says she just wanted to focus on being a great mom and supporting her husband when asked why she keeps a low profile while other NBA player wives opt to go on reality TV, becoming influencers and build brands.
And so, this made me think, like, it gives me that loud minority thing because when I thought about it, I'm not a person who watches a lot of basketball. So I had to go Google basketball wives. And a lot of them I didn't even know. They look like regular women who are just like Savannah. It's just her husband is LeBron. So, of course, we know Savannah. But why do you think people think that all of these wives are just like these Instagram models? When I looked them up, they seem to be pretty decent, well-dressed, modest women. Anybody?
I think it's a few things, right? I think that because some of the wives have gone on television shows, they've been all over Instagram, trying to build their own brand by proxy. I think there's so many examples on it done wrong that I think that the Savannahs of the world have become an example to some of the younger upcoming wives. So I think there's more and more of that kind of family branding, right? Like the Currys did a really good job up until recently with their family branding, right? Even though she built her own brand and she was on Instagram and doing all of this stuff, she still kept a fairly low profile until all that stuff came out with her wanting attention and then rumors of them being in an open marriage. I think that they're understanding the benefit of having more of a family dynamic like that.
What
And I
was
think
that rumor again? What's that? I didn't see that rumor. Run that by me again. They're in an open what?
an open marriage. You didn't hear those rumors? That was like a year ago. This is old news.
Oh my, honey, new to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So, there were rumors of that after that statement on the Red Table Talk that she made of like, she just wanted to feel desired too. So, not long after some of that information kind of went viral. Nobody's confirmed anything, so we don't know. Everything's allegedly, but when you have so many of those examples out there and you see that those marriages don't last, or they're not ideal, or they're not happy, or they hurt the money, I think people are kind of starting to steer away from that. We're watching the pendulum kind of swing the other way.
I also think too, I think this is a representation of, I think, what happens in online social media in general, is that you have a small minority that ends up being the reflection for everybody, because the truth of the matter is the vast majority of those NBA players who are married, you don't hear or see anything related to their wives at all. And I think with this situation, that is making it seem like, the Currys and all of that is the representation of what most of the wives are trying to do. But in reality, I think most wives are like LeBron James, where you don't hear about them. They're not trying to be out there creating brands or wanting to be in the spotlight or anything like that. So I think this whole thing is just the same reflection of what we see, where you have, what they say, the loud minority that ends up becoming a face or representation of the majority who aren't even doing that.
And let me just add, because Mistaken didn't mention this, Mistaken's brother used to be a former NBA player. So she's been behind the scenes. And you're right, even when I went to the game with you guys, the women just like regular wives. Nothing like no bimbo, none of that stuff. Regular wives with family, type women. So I just think that that's kind of strange that people think just associated like they're anything but that. But go ahead, AP. Did you want to add?
Actually, I believe it's the perception of the money. I think that people presume that when you make X amount of dollars, you're going to have a certain look of a wife, of a mate, um, not recognizing that most of the time that your wife is likely to be more like what you would consider a wife, and what you're doing out on the road is what you're doing out on the road. And those are the ones that people think that these guys are with. They don't want those type of women. Regardless of how much money you make, yeah, you can bust those nines and tens down and use them as dumpsters. And when you get home, you typically will have a modest, normal looking woman as a wife, because she possesses the qualities that you would likely consider as a wife quality. And I think that's where that perception comes from.
You know what's so funny? I think that people often too mix up wife and maybe a girlfriend or baby mama. Because when I look at the basketball wives, because that's what people like to refer to, most of those aren't wives. They're either a baby mom or ex-girlfriend, not necessarily a wife. And the two that are wives, they're still married. But I think that they get those mixed up. So when you go to games, you may see that woman, but is she the wife? The wife may be there,
Now,
but she's not the
typically,
wife.
typically you wouldn't see the girlfriend on camera. The reason you wouldn't do that, because part of the job of the athlete is to, do what you do on the road, and don't embarrass your family while you're out there on the road. And I think that's more of an understood kind of thing, and I think most of the guys truly understand that.
Gotcha. And again, we're just talking about wives. I think that people miss the word wife with girlfriend just because he's with her. If he has not given her his last name, she's just the moment, in my opinion, for now. The for now. So anybody else wanted to add to that, Marky Mark? Thank you
Can you
for
can you
coming.
Yeah, I was knocked out. You know how this
I
shit.
figure. I was like, something tells me Mark is sweet.
Yeah, that alarm was going off. But let me ask you this: could you repeat the first question?
So basically, the topic was I'm gonna put the banner back up, but well the brand. So this is what it says. So basically, the internet, they always talk about Savannah James and how a great of a wife she is, and she is a superb wife. I'm so glad she exists because, I love the fact that she's circulating. She's a beautiful woman. She carries herself very well. I believe what it is that she's trying to do. So it's a beautiful thing. But I think that what happens is they automatically assume that most wives aren't like that. But what we've seen is that, yeah, there's some loud BMs, baby mamas, or girlfriends, but the wives carry themselves pretty well. Like who's married? Like Westbrook, his name Lloyd Westbrook. I don't hear anything about his wife. And all of the other men who have wives, I don't hear anything bad about the wives. Important word, wives. So we were just trying to wonder why people think that they tend to want to be on reality TV shows, or they're the loud or ratchet women when those indeed are not the wives.
Or just want to be in the spotlight in general.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was what we were
So,
talking
so
about.
I think that like men compartmentalize stuff, right? So you would have so a man might have a woman that he was dating since 15 that he in love with and met at 15, right? And she might not be a woman he would date at 25, but he might stay with her because he can compartmentalize. Like, all right, she was the woman that I needed throughout this whole time. I know this is no new ulterior motives and all that. But when you want to go to the club, you don't want to pull up with the girl that you thought she doesn't quite fit the beauty standard for the club that you're going to. I've seen people do this before. So they be pulling out like the 10 that the AP was talking about, but they don't really be having no substance behind them. So it just be visual, and then people mistake that may be the wife. They get to affiliating you around the city with those type of girls because they always see you with that specific caliber of girl. But the wife be tucked and be away from all the BS. You know,
You think
um,
they be hiding their wife, bro? Like, like that's
not
legit
hiding from
hiding
the
your
wife.
wife.
They be like what Drake say. I'm not hiding my baby from the world. I'm hiding the world from my baby. I think it might be something like more like that, where it's not like, oh yeah, she not.
I think what you described, and this is not to really poke a hole in your argument, but what you described is just the opposite of that. That's not protecting the world from your woman. That's protecting you from the scrutiny of what your woman looks like.
Look, not to
I'm
say the wives be ugly, they just don't. All right, so look,
Yeah, because them ones when they're bad wives, they like to show them off, honey.
yeah, like the all right, so look,
So
it's a
luckily
difference
Savannah's a nice
between
looking woman.
there are women who walk around and she gonna get paid to look like that. She don't even got a model. She gonna get paid just to look like that. Those women be at the club. You know what I'm saying? That's who I've seen a lot of people take to the club or meet at the club, go by themselves to meet up with them type of women.
and see, I think that's more in line with what I think actually happens. I don't think they necessarily take that woman to the club, but that's the woman that they'll meet while they are at the club.
Yeah.
Because who
But
you
then when they
who
leave
you
the
are
club,
seeing,
is they taking them with them?
they might leave with them through the back, because I really think that those guys work to protect themselves and their families from the BS. I really do. I've
The
actually
ones
seen it.
the
Well,
yeah, the ones
if they're protecting, because this to me is kind of like an oxymoron. How are they protecting their wives and their family from the BS when they're engaging in BS to begin with?
Depends on how you look at it. Some,
yeah.
like, a lot of times there's an understanding in the relationship. Like women, I think oftentimes we like to believe that you ladies are naive, but we fully understand you aren't naive. And when we get into those relationships, when those guys get into those relationships with their with their wives, like he was talking about, you got a girl since you were 15, you come to an understanding that things happen because of who you are. you have a lot of options.
A whole lot.
So
A whole lot. Yeah.
I understand that you're taking care of a need or an urge while you're out, and you're taking care of the family while you're here. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. Like, I don't think Cookie would have really had a problem with Magic until, right?
Yeah.
Until
But,
that.
but
You
that's
also
the
got to
thing.
factor this in.
Isn't that always the possibility? Like not just with Magic Johnson getting what he got, but ended up having kids outside of the marriage, like all of, because what I've learned, kind of being not necessarily directly in that space, but just kind of being privy to certain things, is that
You
they've
talking about your brother?
yeah, um, men are very irresponsible when it comes to doing that. So even if you're trying to say, I'm protecting my family, so to speak, one, if you were protecting them, you wouldn't be engaging in that kind of behavior anyway. But two, if you are, the protection comes with literally protecting yourself by using, condoms and stuff like that. And a lot of the men in those, they don't.
Though you use the key word irresponsible, and you're right, there are a lot of them that are irresponsible, but there are also in that way. But there are also a lot of them that aren't irresponsible in that way, and because there are truthfully there are condoms all around you. They make sure that you have, like, the leagues make sure that you're aware and that there are condoms available to you. Period. So
So
there's no real excuse. They're just being dumb. They're like that. That's the only way to say it. They're being dumb.
so I don't want to put it just on the men, right? And I know it's going to sound kind of weird, but like side chick culture has also changed. Like the side chicks used to know, you sit in the background, you be quiet, you deal with what you're given, and that's now flipped to, the side chick is the one who's loud and looking for attention and engaging in extortion and outing the relationship and all of this stuff. So I think sometimes young men get advice from a generation of men that don't have to deal with those problems, and they engage in these behaviors not realizing the generation of women that they're dealing with, right? So I think it's both parties involved. Like, yes, some men go outside of their marriage, whether it's a part of the agreement or not, right? But they give themselves the illusion of protecting the family through NDAs, through handlers, through, security or whatever it is that they're utilizing as tools of protection, not realizing that some of these women are looking for a come up and are going to be really loud about it. So I think a lot of people involved are just kind of changing the game and the whole dynamic.
To go back
But
to a
who
previous
has
point you made,
more of the responsibility, though? Like, even if you say side chicks are supposed to know their place, but who has more of the responsibility in that situation? The side chick gonna do side chick things, regardless of what generation you're in. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were in previous generations, because they've had songs about that, where the side chick called up the wife and stuff like that. So that happens, especially when there's the side chick long enough to begin catching feelings, getting involved. But the question is, who has more responsibility, the side chick to keep it quiet, or the husband who got involved in the situation to begin with?
the equivalent of what you're talking about would be back in that era, women pulling up at the church and screaming outside on a megaphone that they dating your man, or pulling up at the kids' soccer game. Because you got to think they putting this stuff on public Front Street, Instagram, and all that.
Or showing up to the funeral after something happens.
Now that I heard it happen in a whole lot. But the other stuff, I didn't like when people was alive. You don't be hearing the stories of that's just wild. Right now, people like Inez was saying, people get a bag doing that. They literally date people just so they can out them. They
See,
literally
that's my point. Men, especially when you're a celebrity, You guys know this. You know it. And that's why I think I get so frustrated when I like hear certain things like, oh, this person got caught. Like, y'all already know from the jump that 9 times out of 10, this side chick is trying to get in your space because they are on the come up, or it's some kind of benefit that they want from you, period. And yet, in knowing this, you'll still engage in the behavior with the side chick.
Are you biblical? You biblical? You Christian?
Yeah. I don't want to say question. Yes, I am.
Who is the strongest man in the Bible?
Samson.
What was he brought down by?
Yeah, a woman.
That shit is biblical. It's inscribed in our DNA. The most powerful man in the world, most times, the only weakness really on our body is right here. If you was fighting a man, you could punch him almost everywhere and it might not hurt. But a child, my little kid, punch me in my, you know what I mean? My man package, that's gonna be, it could drop me to my knees. That is like the kryptonite, the Achilles heel on all men.
So
come in the middle of
that means you should protect that with everything then.
So
Man, that means I need to read the Bible, or I didn't even know that answer.
so mistaken. So here's the thing, right? I think like as an average person, we kind of wrap our brains around that, right? But when you get into like the rich and powerful, there's a level of not egotism, but something along those lines where you feel powerful enough to insulate yourself away from that, right? Like you feel like you can protect yourself from those things, that no matter what, there's a recourse where, you know, you can mitigate the fallout. Yeah, and I think that's the trap, right? You think like, okay, it's happening to these other people, but it's not going to happen to me because I know how to handle this situation. I know how to handle this woman. I know how to, you know what I mean? And I think that's where too many people get caught up in those arenas where it's like this, this like fallacy, like this bubble that they live in where they can control things and people, and that they can just kind of play chess in that way and not lose.
Now I know the only one, what's her name? That's on the NBA Wives or whatever. Chris, what's her name? Chrissy, whatever. Wife? No, the older one. She's older. Are they in LA or whatever? Oh my gosh, I think her name is Chrissy or Chris. You know who I'm talking about? The older one, the one that's always stirring up. Jackie Chrissy. Okay. Now her situation. So I even though she seemed a little crazy, I can respect the way that they managed their marriage. Like they insulated their marriage, because I don't think I've ever heard anything with him stepping outside the marriage because she was always there.
What's the man she dating? What's his name?
What's her husband's name, Shan?
He cute though. I don't know his name. And he's so reserved. Like he's so opposite of her.
See. I'm gonna look up
his name. Is let me see. I can look it up.
Jackie Chrissy. But anyway, Doug
Christie.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so they're old school or whatever. But I'm saying what I can appreciate is that they protected their marriage by making sure that, well, she made sure she was there. So y'all, going out, y'all hanging out, I'm here with you. He left, he would come to the hotel and be with her. You know what I'm saying? So I think if your marriage is priority, especially if you don't have any children at this point yet, I know if I was that chick, I'm doing what she did. Listen, we ain't got children. I can be your biggest supporter. You know what I'm saying? I can insulate our relationship for that very reason, because I just, like I said, kind of being in the situation and seeing what happens after the games. Most women, I guess I have to agree that they know what they're getting into, just because it is a lot to deal with. And I definitely think that I would be that wife that'd be like, I'm coming with you.
Teammates would be like, bro, you got to stop bringing your wife.
Right.
Because
So
like that'll cause friction on the team, like real live friction.
how? If I'm there with my if he's playing a game and he ain't trying to hang out with y'all after the game, he leaves and he comes to the hotel and he's with me. What does that have to do with y'all? With
So
teammate?
we had a teammate before, right? And this dude was dating this girl with a big ass mouth. So all the players' families sit players and you know the families and extended families, they have a little area they sit in.
Mm-hmm.
So this girl, she did me like this too before. This girl, she she'll be in the little area, and she want to be buddy to any girl she see attractive. So she told one of the girls like, "Oh, Marcus always had the prettiest girls," and she don't know these girls. She just come out her mouth like me and Buddy had an issue about that. I'm like, bro, why is she doing this? Come to find out, well, man, people be having a problem with it. People be having a problem with it. And sometimes it be ulterior motives behind why she doing that shit. She might want to switch players.
Yeah,
Like,
not only that, it would. That's one of those things where a few times would be cool. Every game on the road, the man would would need some space at some point, and would ask for that space and be like, "Yo, no offense, you got to go home. We're on a 3-day road trip. I just need you to." It would be a very difficult conversation, but some of those guys need that space, and I also understand that some of those guys don't want that space, and they would want you there because you're part of their mental headspace. There's two sides to that coin, but oftentimes to clear those home distractions, baby, please stay at home.
And some coaches will tell you like, look, you unfocused, like they don't want, like, depending on the like it's a lot of other variables that could go into that where that could go all the way wrong. But the reason I say it's gonna be a hard conversation, I'm a firm believer you gotta start how you finish. So if you've been letting her come on 25 games and then you just change your mind, even if y'all don't fight about it, she gonna have a thought in her mind which could fester something and snowball into some other stuff. Man, I don't know. I don't.
I guess for me, I would be curious to listen to the conversation with the other husbands of wives of how come mistaken gets to go to all the away games. Like, I think that would cause some friction.
Hell yeah.
Everything else, like, how come mistaken gets to go and I can't go, and you get, like, 3 or 4 wives, and then that starts to spread. Like, the whole team is ready to fight.
But you know what? I've seen well, I ain't seen it myself, but I heard that they have both the wife and the side chick at the game, right? Usually they sit right by each other.
It depends. Look, I guess it depends on. I guess it depends on what level you're at.
That's a hell of a gamble.
Right. I guess if you ride in the bench, you might not be able to pull that off. But if you somebody else, you might be able to.
I don't think it's based off of your performance of the game. I think that got to do with like what type of man you are, or you know what I'm saying, if you got the ability to do that. Because this dude's that could be the star. I'm talking about every gym you pull up in, and he getting dog walked by his girl, and all the guys on the team looking at him like, bro, why is you allowing this? Mm-hmm. Or she running over him. I think that really just depends on the man. Yeah, that part is interesting.
Yeah, not like let's just say LeBron or Steph had a side chick there at the games with their wife. Like that just wouldn't that's not gonna go. And those are two of the biggest names in basketball. Like that's just not gonna go. Like don't do that, bro.
It will definitely mess the brand up. You would have to, if they were to do it, they would have to be real strategic, and the woman would have to have some class about herself, which somebody just mentioned. This new generation.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's a little hard to find.
You don't mix it, because what happens is if a guy is bringing his side chick to me, now he's in that area of really cheating, because you're actually giving the side chick mental space.
But they do that. That's what you're missing. Okay, so we're about to get into this. We're going to get into the. Okay, so listen. Okay, so I'm glad we're talking about celebrity. Let's bring this to the everyday guy. When I say the everyday guy, decent guy who's got something going for himself. He has a family, and there's this girl on the side that he kind of likes or whatever. So he's not LeBron, no, but he's Jimmy down the block. Okay. Oh, Jimmy around the corner. And Jimmy got Joanne and Chrissy. I mean, I don't know what else. But anyhow, so it's easy to say, okay, let's look at this video and then we'll go into that, okay? Give me a second. I think if I can find it. I guess I should have looked for it before now. Y'all know I can't see. I'll be like this.
If you're wrecking a home, you're wrecking a home. The point is there is no accountability for men. So when we talk about these side chicks, the first thing we want to do is look at the woman. I've been that woman that look at a side chick and be like, ugh, how could you? Da da da. But the realest shit is, how could you look at your bitch every night and say how much you love her? How could you post your bitch? How could you marry a woman? How could you have a child with a woman? Do all this and hold your woman up to this high standard? Because I'd never see. The funniest thing is, we'll sit up here and talk about strippers, terrible, prostitutes, terrible, but fun, they're lifestyles.
Yes, they're good girls.
You just aside, you never be my main, as if that's some type of reward. Your main's being cheated on, disrespected, degraded, and you're putting your main in danger in the line of having STDs and some more shit and being completely and totally torn and broken apart. So, there's no homework or side chick. If you both, you both.
So what y'all think about that?
That sounds like something.
But it's, you know, and that goes back to the question I think Mistaken asked: whose responsibility is it? Because at the end of the day, she doesn't have to pledge allegiance to your family. It's your family.
Look, that sounds like something that an angry side chick would say to try and tell the woman.
She did sound a little angry.
We the same.
She did sound a little angry. She sounded a little involved in that, but I'm not to say, you know, but I get what she's saying though. Is it? I mean, let's just take. Just tonight, I want you guys to forget that you're the men and we're the women. On the outside looking in, and we see a situation. Are we asking the side chick to be the bigger person in this situation? Is that what we're expecting? Let's be honest. She obviously does not have any class about herself, morals, just to be in the situation in the first place. Sorry, all the side chicks in the chat. I apologize.
That's not necessarily true.
But you're asking the side chick to be the bigger person.
I don't think it's about being the big person. I think it's about understanding your role in it. And I think that's where, like, the side chicks have gone a little wild in that sense, where, you know, now they've expanded into lanes they don't necessarily belong, or they're not. Let me say this way: that they're not delegated to. Right? I don't think it's more so about, you know, we're expecting you to be an upstanding citizen, but to do the job that you're allocated.
So I just want to say, first of all, the lady actually sounds like she doesn't really understand. She's trying to explain how being what a man does with a side chick is wrong from on the man's side. She wants us to view it like women view it. And that's just not the way it works. We, as men, we can completely compartmentalize the two different women. Like that's how it's done. Funny thing, we're more honest with the side chick than we are with the main. That's the number one thing. In order to get that side chick to truly accept her role, we're going to be bluntly honest with her. Either you accept these terms or you don't. And like typically there's no sugarcoat, there's no BSing with it, because we know what it can look like if it does blow up, right? So we keep it 100 with that person. Completely 100 with that person.
But
that way she has a choice. Either you accept this role or you don't accept this role. If you don't accept it, cool, bet.
That the real fast.
Hold on, let me just add something. Let me just add something real quick to this. So that 100% was how things worked in the past, right? In the future, currently, you can be honest with everybody and get the relationship that you may want, or because it's a different world. Like in the past, yeah, it was a stigma upon that. We seen men on men relationships, women on women relationships, men with multiple wives. I even seen women with multiple husbands now. Like at this point, I think you owe it to people just to be honest out the gate to everybody, and then see where them cars fall, because it's not ashamed anymore, and you don't got to be cowardice about it like how we had to when you was real young, and it was just the worst thing in the world. And
But
See,
it
I
was
didn't.
always in man nature to act that way.
I,
Or
I wouldn't even see it as cowardice. Like in my mind, and I think in the mind of most men, in our minds, we're like, okay, this is the way I protect her because I know how she values me. And
I agree.
I don't necessarily think that has changed. I
So
think that there are more things that are open, like people are more open about certain things, but I don't think that's most people.
so AP, for me, the reason I use the word cowardice is because I 100% was afraid of getting caught when I was younger.
Oh,
So
see,
that's I won't be afraid of things, and that's the time I can remember. Like, oh, I ain't want to get caught doing this. So
the
if
confessions.
I've been, come on now, we done been
These are
talking.
my
I'm joking, Marky
confessions.
Mark.
Yeah, like shit. I live on Front Street. I don't got no, you feel me? But
Oh, go ahead, Marky Martin. I want that.
yeah,
Go ahead.
but moving forward, that's why I developed that. I told you this whole story before about how I developed honesty. The best policy is my stance and all of that shit. It came from the previous from kind of what she's saying, but I don't really view it how she view it, because I 100% agree with AP. It's like trying to convince men to see relationships the same in the same light and from the same feeling that women have them from. But more so about like, if you get somebody the choice, you get them the choice, and that's powerful. When you get them that choice, then they can be like, "No, I can't mess with that." Or yeah, you know what, we can make something work, and you would be surprised. People be more understanding than you thought.
I have a
This is my-
question.
Okay.
There were two things that I heard, and one of the things I hear what you're saying, Mark, is you can be honest. But if that's the case, if more people are being honest these days, this drama is still going on. Obviously, that honesty is not working because some people are looking surprised. But you're right. I think more and more people are, but there are still people who try to do it the old-fashioned way, and maybe it's not working out well for them. My question to the AP, which I was trying to ask, was again, you're asking somebody who is not vested. For example, he has his wife, he has his kid, his reputation. You're saying, oh, I'm gonna give you, lay out all the rules. What is it that she's losing in besides him? What is her loss? It seems like he has so much more to lose than what she has to lose. Does that make sense?
You talking about the side chick?
Yeah. So, because one of the things that you stated was, you sit down and you say you're honest with her. Like, these are the things, this is the way it's going to go. But what's the consequence if she decides to renege and do whatever that she wants to do? Because she doesn't lose anything. She may lose him.
That's a
But
big loss. You say him with such disdain, like him ain't him. I
I mean,
wish you
she
had
ain't
that
got him
clip where
anyway.
she's like, "You're not him."
But
No,
she's losing something she doesn't even have.
Depends on the point of view.
Yeah.
It really depends on your point of view. What do you mean? Like, she has him in the capacity that she wants at that time.
Well, I
But
want
you
to.
understand, it's still
She
You don't know they
accepted the,
but she's
connected.
like,
still,
so
but
for
he's still losing more in the situation. It's his brand, it's his family, his legacy.
So,
she go ahead.
thanks. So I think that it's a good question. But I think that there are women who will settle to get what they can out of the man that they want, right? I don't think it's necessary because, like, to what Marcus was saying, like, addressing the man in who he is in society. There are women out there that will settle for breadcrumbs just to be associated to that man.
Mm-hmm.
They will settle for less than the bare minimum just to be able to have that type of relationship with that type of guy. Like, it's become a social status for women to be associated with those kind of men, that getting a fraction of attention, right? Like, there's videos going viral on TikTok saying like, oh, I was at this club with this celebrity and he just happened to look my way one too many times. And that's enough attention to be associated to that person, right? Like, some women really are okay getting whatever scraps that they can from that guy, right? So what are they losing and why they're shifting away from their delegated role is the self-respect that wasn't there in the first place, right? And if we're gonna talk about it in all honesty, that's really what it is, because any woman who's willing to settle for crumbs is lacking in self-respect, regardless of the man that is. So if you're willing to engage and sustain a relationship out of that, eventually it becomes not enough, and you start, as Mr. Leko would say, acting like a child, right? And throwing these very public tantrums, right? Because you engaged in a relationship that wasn't really fulfilling.
And let me add this on to that. Brittany Renner, right? You know what she lost? That's an attractive young woman. 99.9% of the men that she potentially could have dated prior to doing all of this extra goofy shit will not talk to her. They won't give her the time of day at this point. She said, my DM's dry, nobody sliding in. I mean, come on, bro. This is what she was saying. And that's a very attractive young woman. And men be thirsty. So for you to become a social pariah just to do, like, it's like snitching.
But that's
Like,
on
yeah,
a
you get up out the
celebrity.
jam,
But let's I want to
You
bring
wanna
it
live like
down
that?
from a celebrity level to a regular Johnny.
Well, what I was
Michael.
going to say on a regular level or any level, and I know everybody's going to probably disagree or have an issue with this, but I'm going to say it because it is what it is. I think that's the difference between a person who have character and integrity and morals. When you're moving in that direction, a lot of that has to do with, I move and I do the thing that I do because it's the right thing to do, not because it's necessarily if I have the option. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes doing the right thing is going against what is deemed okay. I think a lot, like in our society, especially when it comes to side chicks or men stepping out on their marriage, or if they have a certain level of money, then they get the right to be able to do that, and everybody should understand that. And I think for me, when I look at it from a perspective of character and integrity. And I don't think you can be a man or a woman who practices that lifestyle and say that you are a person of good character or good integrity, because those two things don't go hand in hand. Now, if it's a mistake or you slip up, I understand not everybody is going to be perfect. But I think the difference between slipping up or something like that, and then y'all got to work through it, but your goal and your aim is to maintain a commitment that you made when you got married to forsake all others. Now, if you got married and that was not something like y'all agreed to an open marriage, or y'all had the discussion and it was a understanding, I think that's something totally different. But if we go into an agreement and we're saying that we're forsaking all others, and then you add the caveat, but because I make a certain level of money, that doesn't really apply to me. Like, that's the part that I look at when I'm talking about just because you can don't mean you should. And when you're moving in, when you're saying that you're a person of character or a person that has integrity, that's how you move. It doesn't matter what society says is okay. It's about what you decide is supposed to be in your marriage, and you move accordingly. And I think a lot of times you'll have people that say that, oh, that person's great, good character. You got to look at their character. You got to look at their integrity. These are the things that you're looking at when you're vetting. So when you're vetting, those are things that you are looking for. Like, is he going to be able to stand his ground even when he's tempted? Is he going to be able to create a system to avoid the temptation? Things like that. So one of those things of avoiding temptations, like I had said with the example with Jackie Chrissy, like for them to keep their marriage solid, Doug's response was, I'm gonna have my wife here with me, so I won't even give myself the opportunity to step out on my marriage. And I think a man of integrity and character, that's how he's going to move. I don't care what y'all say. As my teammates, you can get mad as you want, but right here, this is my priority.
So look, I think like a lot of times, sometimes men make concessions to things they may not agree with in duress.
Gina,
So
Gina, you have no character or moral or integrity. That's crazy.
Thank you for
But go
watching,
ahead.
Gina.
Sorry.
It was funny. That was cute. That
oh,
was a
Gina, yeah, Gina.
She
So
said,
look,
shout out to Gina.
look. So this what I would say. Sometimes maybe making deals under duress, right? And that could have been a duress made deal where he probably already got caught cheating. So to hold that man up in the standard, like, oh, he just do this because that's just what he. That sounded like a duress deal, and he was trying to keep it together. He probably ain't had no prenup, and all type of extra craziness was going on. And if I was him, I couldn't even feel like if my wife demanded that I do
the consequences need to be greater to keep men in line. Then
no, you viewing this from a female perspective so hard that I can't even see.
No, it's not that I don't understand that the temptation is there. It's not that. Because I've like I said, I've literally I actually had a chick look at me up and down like, who's this? You know what I'm saying? And that was my brother. Like, so I'm sitting here and I'm like, yo, like I saw it firsthand of what certain guys are going to be dealing with. But I'm also looking at to like what Shem was saying, like if we're not even talking about celebrities, right? I understand that just on a general level that you have some men that deal with temptation. But when you look at the average man, a lot of times they can control the situation. I think it's different when you are a celebrity because a lot of it is just coming your way. It's a little different. But looking at the average man, the average person, they can create their own bubble in the sense of trying to put themselves in situations where they don't. Like I remember hearing Anton speaking one time where he was saying one of the things that he do, like he'll show up to events, he'll go to the thing, but afterwards when everybody's going to the club and they party, I don't go. I go straight home. You know, now I'm just saying this is what I heard. Now, whether or not it's true, I can't speak.
I'm not saying it's true or not.
I'm just looking at your face.
You just made.
I'm just looking at your face. So my point being is if you are trying to honor your marriage, honor your vows, then I do think you move in a certain way to protect yourself so you don't end up in situations like that. That's all I'm saying.
I think you can only control your environment so much, right? Like getting out of the realm of celebrities, like your average guy still gets a lot of temptation thrown at him, right? How often do we hear women complain about there are no good men out there? How often do we complain about do we hear women complaining about, certain things when it comes to men? This idea of good men being really rare has the majority of people have now accepted it, right? And then you add any sort of charisma to it because now the complaint is that most men don't have emotional intelligence, right? Most men don't have the ability to talk to women. Most men are, very forceful in the way that they dialogue with women, right? So you have these men that have any sort of game, right? Who are even remotely good looking, who may have just a little bit of influence. And all of a sudden, all of them women around them are just taking notice, right? And it can be as subtle from checking him out a little too often to as overt of being pursued by women because women are now feeling very competitive over men. And so I don't necessarily agree with your average guy being able to control himself because if we're honest, the average guy isn't really sat down and prepared for the level of attention that he might get for just being a decent guy. We're not even talking about top caliber guy, just being a decent guy. That's become, women are taught that that's such a rarity. That guy's not equipped for the attention he's about to get. So I think that if those conversations were to happen more often, maybe they'd be able to control their circumstances because right now, because they're decent guys, their assumption is, oh, she's just being nice. Oh, she's just being friendly. Oh, she's just being pleasant. Oh, it's because we work together, or because I see her every day, or whatever the circumstance is. They're looking at this woman without understanding the potential ulterior motives that come behind certain behaviors, right? They're not equipped to handle that attention.
But that's what I mean. When you are a person who moves with character and integrity, I think that is your sphere of influence, is yourself. So even if somebody else is moving with bad intentions, whether you know it or not, wouldn't even matter. Because for me, if I'm gonna be in a situation like we talk about work husbands, work wives, or what have you, um, if my goal is to protect the sanctity of my relationship or my marriage, it's just a certain way that I would have to move. I know as a man is a little different as a woman in terms of the way that I would have to move versus the way that my husband would have to move in the workplace. However, the end goal is the same. So I'm not gonna go like, if there's a night out with people from the job or whatever. Like if my husband goes, it's a matter of, yo, we're gonna go out after work. You want to meet me at the spot that we're going to, or vice versa. If I'm going out, oh, after work, or people are going to such and such. You want to meet me there, or something like that, just to protect that situation where it's not allowing room for the opportunity for something to happen. And again, I know sometimes mistakes happen. I'm not going to sit here and say that it can't ever happen. Absolutely, it can. But what I'm saying is when you're walking in that saying that, well, that's part of the game. Like that's part of life. That's what's going to happen. When your mind frame is giving you a way out, you're going to take the way out. But if your mind frame is set that I have everything to lose if I make the wrong move, then you're going to try to move in that direction to protect that with everything.
Okay, so let me just ask Miss Taken and the AP a question. This is a two-part question, so answer this part really fast so I can get to the second part. Can you tell me the man in all the history that you respect the absolute most? Like you just in all the history, just give me the name of the man you respect the absolute most.
My granddad.
Okay. What about you, AP? It could be
My high school principal.
Okay. If you found out your granddad had a side woman, would you lose respect for him?
I wouldn't lose love from him, but respect, I probably would. And that's just I probably would. I wouldn't lose love for him, but I probably would lose a level of respect just because of the person that I knew he did not move like that.
Okay, so AP, if you found out that in the same situation that he had a side chick, would you lose respect for him?
No. Why would I?
That's how men view is different. Is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Like,
I agree with you. That's what I said. I do think men and women think differently, but I think when you're talking about character, integrity, and morality, I don't think that's gender. That's not gendered based.
I think that the subjectiveness of what you define as your character and so there are things in like the line for you, there are things when it comes to sex that change for us, right? It's the nuance that we always mess up in the conversation when we try and apply male complete logic to most women, because there's some women who fall alongside that line, but to most women it's always going to be a disconnect in the same way because it's like you run your it's a different filter that you run in your criteria through than what we run our criteria through. And then at the end of it,
because you're gonna run your criteria through the things that you want. Like I can, if I had a situation like, or like women when they're referring to money and how certain things should be with money, they're gonna run their filter through that because for them it's a benefit. It's something that they will benefit from. Just like as men, you're going to run your filter through some differently when it comes to sex because it's something that you benefit from and you enjoy. So I definitely think that. But that's why I say when you're looking at character, when you're looking at integrity, that has nothing to do with being gender specific. If you take a vow in your marriage and you're saying, I, agree to forsake all others, you're saying that as the husband, you're saying that as the wife, right? So if you're a person of character and integrity, you're going to move in that direction to ensure that you keep your word.
So let me ask you this: that same speech or that same vow, it has that for what is it, brokenness and health and rich or poor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if a woman is unhappy with the amount of money you're making, does that make her bad character?
Yes, it depends on this. I definitely think it's bad character if she's willing to walk away from the marriage because you don't make a certain amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Yes, because the marriage says for better, for worse, for richer or for poorer. So if he happens to lose his job, or she expected him to be on like a trajectory of being a CEO and he never gets there and he remains, whatever level that he's at, and then she wants to leave because of that, then absolutely it would be of poor character and poor integrity. Absolutely. There's no difference. That's why I said when you're moving in character and integrity, there is no gender. It's not gender based.
So are you saying most women that be on the panels that come online and request this amount of money that they would like, they're all low moral, low character women?
No, I didn't say that. And that wasn't your original question. You said if they were married. No. You said if they were married, and they said for rich or for poor. I think when you are in the process of dating and you're not married, the rules are a little different because you at that point have choice. But once you've locked in and you got married and you take your vow, then you have to move totally different than you were when you weren't married. That's totally different.
So anyone that ever gets divorced based on finances as a woman is a low quality, low caliber woman.
If that was the foundation of why she got married, yes.
No, why she got divorced. She could have loved him and then she was happy with where he was at, say he loses his job. If she divorces him off that, is that a low quality, low caliber woman?
When you say low quality, low caliber, I wouldn't necessarily say she's low quality, low caliber, but I would say she has her integrity isn't right or her character isn't right. She's not moving in good character or having good integrity. Absolutely.
So with the amount of women that be online talking about finance as a prerequisite,
I think they go hand in hand. I think that they go hand in hand. I know what you're saying. I get what he's saying because men care about those needs. Women care about financial needs. And so both of which are superficial. And so if you're going to say one, then kind of like the other.
That's what I'm saying.
At the end of the day, it just say for rich or for poor.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I say if they went in the marriage and that was their foundation for why they were getting married, then I think that that's wrong in general.
But sometimes it may not be the foundation, but let's just say you may not be great with hitting rock bottom. Some people just don't do well in bad places. They just don't
get married because and then I would say to that, then don't get married because hitting rock bottom in a marriage can potentially happen. Like you don't have control over the direction of the way certain things go. That's why it's very important to try to vet as much as you can. Do I have the chick that if all things fail, that she's still gonna have my back, that she's still gonna stay in it, and vice versa for a girl. Like if I ever get sick, because I think we had talked about on one of those shows before that, men will divorce a woman if they get sick or something like that and have an ailment or whatever. Like, does this seem like the type of man that if all goes bad and I'm sick, that he is going to be down for me no matter what? Those are things that you are supposed to be looking for when you're vetting. You know what I'm saying? So when you get married, that's not something that you should necessarily have to question.
So look,
I know
when I hear people
wanted to get in there as well.
Okay.
So go ahead, because I think you have something to say against with mistaken, but then you guys give it a break because Enos wants to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I hear people talk about the qualifications for the man that they want, I've never once heard them talk about a man who's going to be there for them in sickness and health. I've never want. They all. If you look at it, it's a popular dating show, Kendra G. When she asks them what they want, they go 666. They don't say nothing about 666. It'd be 666. They'll say nothing about the sickness. They'll say nothing about the health. They really don't. They
Loyalty.
Might make you win.
I think that's when they say loyalty. Be loyal. I think that's what they mean by that, right? Go ahead, Miss. Go ahead, Inaz.
I think, for me at least, hearing this conversation, the huge disconnect is like the difference between the pre-qualifiers and once you're in the game, right? Saying this is what you need to get to the game versus like when we're in it, these are the expectations, are two totally different conversations, right? Because like I think advocating for like people marrying somebody who's completely down and out, I mean like not just broke, like poor character, you know, already suffering illnesses, all of this stuff, like that's not really something that we advocate for, right? We advocate for going into it best case scenario because that's really the stage where you're laying foundation for your marriage. So you don't want to go into it with cracks already kind of formulating, right? But once you're in the marriage and you commit to those vows, that's really when you are now accountable to those vows. You're not accountable to it beforehand, right? And I think that's where the line is drawn, at least for me, right? Like to say I'm not saying for myself, but to say I want a 6-figure man, that doesn't necessarily mean that woman's out if he starts, you know, dropping in income, right? I think the expectation is you took these vows understanding it was for rich or for poor. To say in sickness and health, I think the expectation is once you're married, you know, if I get sick, you're not just going to call it quits, right? But going into a marriage with somebody who's sick, I think a lot of people would really hesitate in that decision if it's not a flat out no. And I think we really need to differentiate people who are vetting out partners versus people who are actually committed in marriage.
And that's exactly what I was saying. It's different once you're married. Anything prior to that is up in the air, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Up in the air for questioning, because you can still walk away. You still have the opportunity. But once you get married, that at that point, especially now, if you know and some people write their own vows and avoid the whole richer for poor like altogether. So if you're in that situation where, you know what, I don't know if I could make a lifelong commitment, and I have a contingency, like I'll stay in it as long as you don't ever get sick, or as long as you don't, you know, ever, you know, like they have a contingency plan. They may write their own vows. So in that regard, then by all means, if you know that I probably will not stick with you for rich or for poor, I probably won't stick with you through sickness and in health, let's write our own vows and exclude that altogether. If that's the discussion y'all have, then whatever y'all decide in your marriage, by all means, go for it. But if you are sticking with the traditional vows that says you're going to forsake all others, that you are going to stay together for rich or for poor, for sickness and health, until death do you part. Once you commit to that part, then you need to commit to that part.
That's so wonderful.
I heard it. Oh.
Go ahead, AP. Then we're gonna go. We're gonna move on to the next portion.
I heard an entire stream 2 nights ago, pretty much based off of this topic, and what was it? 4 out of the 5 women on that panel, to answer Marcus's question, 4 out of the 5 said, if my husband lost his job, I could hold him down for a little while. That's what they all said. Which go like, so of those, would you call those 4 women's integrity into question if they got a divorce because he got comfortable?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. See, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't change for me.
Let me say this.
It just doesn't change.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. I don't want to say it.
I was just going to say, it doesn't change for me in terms of gender. When you're moving, again, I keep saying this, when you're moving based on character and integrity, gender is out the window. It doesn't matter. Once you deem something, because I know we try to put is a double standard. And that's the thing. When you're moving with morality, integrity, character, all of that, double standards is not even a double standard in that mind frame. It's just doing what's right. So things can't be right for one person and wrong for another when you're moving in good character and integrity. It just is, as it is a straight
There's
road.
no
It's
wrong
black
way to do
and
the
white.
right thing.
There is no gray in that regard.
You're on mute.
Marcus, you're on mute.
Marcus, you're on mute.
I give you an example how that can absolutely be true. So if a burglar come in here right now, right, and tries to attack me and my family, and I take off running and go hide with the kids, that's a clear difference of something that would not be okay. But if my wife does it, it's expected, and that's what I want her to do. It can't. We don't have the same obligations. We don't have the same responsibilities. And
That doesn't have anything
We
to do
both
with.
hiding, baby. We riding together.
But Marcus, that has nothing to do with morality and character or integrity. It doesn't have anything to do with that.
That's livelihood. Like
Look,
we trying to
in that scenario, I want you to be worried about your life
Okay,
more than the
so-
life
so-
of
so
others. And
listen.
I'm saying my responsibility would be worried about y'all life.
That's
more than the
look.
responsibility of
One
my
is
life.
no,
Protection.
it ain't the same, Marcus. I can ride with you on. You know, I can really care less about this side thing. You know, because I'm the queen of me and cheat. But that analogy you just gave, it don't fly. That's not the same. It is
What
not the same.
I was trying to point out is she said that character has no gender, and she said character, morality, and integrity has no gender. It's ingrained in my character, morality, and integrity that I have to protect my family. That's not just a role that I look at as that's a duty. It's actually ingrained in, like, I got a life to give behind the people that I love. That's part of my character. That's part of my if I let's say the situation happened, right, and I ran and hid, I would hate myself for the rest of my life.
Some people won't though.
It's a difference.
It isn't, because my thing is this:
most men who view themselves as men that's gonna stand on their square and protect their family, if they get like somebody come into their castle and punk them about their home, they gonna feel a way about that for the rest of their life, unless they just a plumb coward. I just can't see.
Nino Brown used that kid in New Jack City to shield him from them bullets.
But my thing is, isn't she doing the same thing if she runs and go grabs the kids to try to protect them? How is that? How is that not? That is. Do you think that her character would be brought into question if she ran out the house and left the kids there?
Oh, I see what you're asking. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Right. It's the same thing. Both of y'all are carrying out duties that you would say in terms of protection. Your role is you're trying to protect the entire family, wife, kids, everybody. So you're going to be the first line of defense. For her role is let me go run, get the kids, and protect them. She's the second line of defense. So
she's not a line of real defense. She's the escape vehicle. It's like on the boat. Like, I'm gonna still be on the boat. You on the now. I'm not saying what you're doing isn't valuable, because you need to live and from that point forward protect the
y'all.
kids.
This is going so far in the river.
All right.
Okay.
It's so bring that boat back.
I just think Marcus is trying to justify. Marcus is just trying to justify, and it's okay that we're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Exactly. It's not just is black.
No matter how.
All I was trying to highlight
Marcus,
is we have.
You're talking to somebody who understands. Like I think I'm more lenient when it comes to stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong.
What I was highlighting was she was saying integrity, character, morals have no gender, right? Like it could, like as a man, I would consider it cowardly to run away from the altercation.
For sure.
But that's more social. That's different. You're moving in social.
Running away from the altercation is not cowardly. It's a smart choice, and that's what I would prefer. And I was trying to highlight the things
because Marcus trying to justify doing bad things with characters. So he's trying to give an example of why it's not.
Listen. Let's go on and move to the side chick's point of view. So, because there's two parties in this, right? Okay.
Hey, my name is Kelly Kell, and I'm about to tell you why being a side chick is so much better than being a main chick. Number one, that guy, he's not going to lie to that side chick. He needs that side chick on the same page as him. That main chick, oh, he going to tell her all the lies. He going to lie about the day of the week with her because she going to trip about everything. Number two, 5 p.m. Where is your man at? I don't give a fuck, because I know as a side chick, he's with his wife. But as a main chick, if he ain't at home, he's with his side chick. Number three, a man can be vulnerable with his side chick. She not gonna judge him, she gonna uplift him. His wife, she gonna judge him, she gonna tell him what he ain't, or she gonna throw it up in his face later on in life. That's what she's gonna do. But his side chick, no. She gonna pat him on the back because she thinks that you're the problem, Mrs. Main Chick. Number 4, loyalty. Yeah, I said it. You're not being the one cheated on if you're a side chick. He cheating on his wife. He ain't cheating on you. He cheating on her. He's loyal to you. He ain't loyal to her. It's kind of fucked up, but hey. Her problem, not yours. Don't even worry about it. You're good. Number 5.
So
Hey.
don't want that ring.
What was I saying? What was I saying just a minute ago? What the hell did I just say?
About how men do that shit and lie. No, I'm saying I agree with you, AP. I'm saying that was the past, but I'm saying moving into the future, it don't.
She didn't look that old to me.
Look,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like there was zero lie in everything she just said. Not a single lie.
So
except for maybe he's not with a side chick. He could be playing basketball with his dogs. I mean,
this is why I say it's a difference, because previously, before, men, like when I was talking about emotionally intelligent or investing and connecting at different levels. Before, it was considered taboo for men to actually communicate with women in any shape, form, or facet. Moving into the new society, I think it's become more fluid as far as how people can communicate and attach. It's not just I work, I pay bills, and then I leave. You got more roles within the household. You connect on different levels, so trust can come in based off of the switching of it. We live in a mercurious time where things are kind of becoming a lot more fluid as far as men's role within a family and the ability to speak with someone that you previously might not have had a conversation with. I'm not saying it's all the way there, but it's changing is what it was my original point.
So I just want to say, AP, to your comment, she may not look that old, but I'm willing to put a lot of money on the fact that the man she's dealing with may be significantly older than her.
I won't disagree.
The old school way of moving, like she's probably dealing with the dude who's still moving like that. So but like to the video itself, right? Yes, there were no lies told. However, I think context to things are really important, right? The fact that he doesn't lie to you also means he probably doesn't care about your feelings all that much.
Nope, don't care.
Right. The fact that he, is not. So there was one lie. The fact that like the wife is the only one being cheated on, because let's be honest, if he has one side chick, there's likely more than one.
Ooh,
so this loyalty to one side chick kind of feels, it kind of feels a little funny to me, right? Like I think that, and let's also not forget like how easily a side chick can be rotated out, whereas a wife is not so easily replaced, right? But like there's context behind those things of like, you know where he is. He could easily be lying to you the way he is to her. Like that's a character trait, regardless if it's out of good intention or not. It's character
unlikely.
trait.
I'm gonna let you finish, but the reason why that's unlikely is because he has to make sure that she stays in her role. And the first time he lies and she finds out, her role is going to change in how she sees you and how she moves. So it's unlikely that a man
Back to my
will lie
previous
to the side chick. It's very
nope.
unlikely.
It goes right back to my previous point. He can fill her role with some other chick. Like, if you are not going to accept the way he moves, he doesn't have to tolerate that from you because you are not permanent. The consequences of letting you go are really not as dire as it is with letting your wife go. So you know what? You're out, and the next girl comes in.
You're right, but the advantage that the side chick does have, she has the ability to blow up your life, if depending on the kind of woman she is, to blow up your life with your wife if if she chose to. And with that understanding is why yeah, we can rotate her out and she understands that she's only there for a short time, but in that short time we
So
have to be honest with those women. Like
I still,
I mean,
I still,
depending on the woman though, but
I still stand 10 toes down on it because even though she might be able to blow up his life, there's this term called mutually assured destruction. Let's not pretend that we don't live in a society where slut shaming is not a thing. That her outing herself as being a side chick is not also endangering herself, her career, her money, her reputation, all of this stuff. Right? Like Marcus, who was the young lady
Brittany
you were?
Renner. Brittany
Yeah,
Renner.
she's probably one of the most infamous side chicks. And what does she have to show for it now? Right? So like
Body in
Right,
she's
because we
she's not the only one, right? Like when we look at like Monica Lewinsky, again, we're going back into the celebrity law.
Superhead.
Yep.
Alicia Keys.
Alicia. I don't know if that one really counts as a good example.
Yeah, I'm not counting her.
No, she stated that when that girl spoke out about her taking the husband, that did a number on her career for a little bit. Like now we've kind of gotten over it a little bit, but it did damage her reputation, her career a little bit.
But if she was single again, a man would date her. She's not
Oh,
undateable.
you're talking about undateable? Is that
Not
what
just undateable, right? But like
reputation?
there are women who put themselves in a position where like they hurt their own money by doing that, right? So like
Alicia Keys.
I mean, it was more like bumping a corner than like actually like really she
But I
recovered.
mean, but you
Bumping
don't
the
want
corner
that
instead of tripping over the whole table.
okay, so that's not a good example, but we have to also show the other example, which we'll talk about. Oh, well, you know what? Let's wait till the end because that's the meat of it all. But go ahead, finish talking.
Yeah, so like just back to like the context thing, right? Like I can understand the sales pitch of like the side chicks, right? Like they do a really good job of like, here are the benefits. But there are the repercussions. You don't get to see him when you want to. You don't get to spend time with him when you want to. You don't get to be shown off in public the way that the wife does. You don't get the notoriety. If something does happen to him, most men won't set it up so that you're still taken care of. I'm not saying all,
that's a
some
fact.
do,
No,
and
no,
that's fair.
most don't.
Most don't, right? And so like there's two sides to that coin. Oh, and this was the other one I wanted to get to about how the woman is like the trope of the nagging wife and the side chick is like, the number one supporter. I think that trope is so tired, right? Because the reality of it that a lot of, even men themselves aren't able to look past is that woman has really bought into who you are. She really understands your capacity of greatness. And she is maybe incorrectly pushing you to keep growing, keep being your best self. But on the other side of that, let's be really honest, men sometimes need an outlet where they just feel encouraged and supported, right? So maybe wives could do a better job of that, some wives, but not all wives are really terrible wives who just sit there and nag, 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 not stop, right?
I don't think most are.
Right.
Well, let me say
So
this.
that goes back to AP. That goes back to the lie that he's telling the side chick that the wife is just this terrible, sexless, nagging human being.
Okay,
He finna leave. Like
So
that's what they
for full disclosure, I have had a chick on the side. Not I mean shit. It is what it is, right? Shut up, Mark. Marcus get on my fucking nerves. But but you don't talk about the other chick with the side chick. You don't talk about her like that.
Well, let me ask you this: How
Because
long
you
was
don't.
she your child? How long was she your side chick? Because that makes
Oh
a
damn!
difference
Ooh,
too.
we divulging some real shit now.
Because I think there's a difference if you have a side chick and she's been a side chick for a month versus having a side chick who's been the side chick for 3 and 4 years. There's a difference of how you're going to treat that side chick versus the 1 month side chick. You divulging some information to the 3 year side chick.
No,
Sweating.
no. You men compartmentalize. You still separate them. You still separate them regardless if it's 1 month or 4 years. It don't even matter. You keep them completely separate. And she made a very valid point in her monologue. You do. I didn't know then. Let me say it. I'm gonna preface it by saying it that way. I didn't know then that your wife is supposed to be your best friend. You're supposed to be able to tell them everything. You're supposed to. That's why you married her. In my mind, it was I need to protect her from what's really going on in my head. That other bitch, she's absolutely irrelevant to me. So I can actually unload what's really in my head about what's really going on so that I can actually talk through like basically I'm gonna talk through it and sort it out. She'll know more about that. Or she knew more about that than the
And
old
that's the
lady did.
ammo the side chick use when she get her feelings caught up and want more. Now you done unloaded on her, and the first thing and that's exactly why he don't like, all of that begins to come
But
out when the house come crumbling down,
So,
and
so
never
I,
you on
you
court
still never
feeling.
as a man you practices you still never discuss your main chick to your side chick because
Dudes do
I'm saying
that.
as a
we
rule.
know. I'm going to get
Like
to that in a second. I
that's
kind of
being
want to
like
hold on it.
oh
I kind
okay,
of want
sorry.
to. You guys are going to the next subject a little bit. I
My bad.
really want to talk about the side. The whole point was to talk about the side chick during this part of it, and we're going to go back to the relationship between the two of them.
But
And
I feel
so,
like y'all did ask a great question. What the hell does she get out of it? Like now that I'm looking like
Well,
now that I'm
yeah,
able to look at it, it's
from
like
what
you're
she
not
was
getting any
saying,
money. You're not getting any real time. Like all you're getting
but
is
but the second video showed that though some people consider the wife to have the responsibility. You saw how she was like she
cleaning the
she's
house,
like, oh my
doing
god,
yeah.
like I'm not that domestic chick. Like I don't want to be that person. So maybe the side chick role
Well,
may
I
work.
think the benefit is for both. For the man, it's what he gets without the responsibility. So the side chick, in my opinion, will always seem like the better choice in a sense. In a sense of, and for the man, in terms of the better choice, because he gets the benefits without the responsibility. I come and go as I please. I have sex when I want to. I don't have to worry about taking care. It's just a lot of things that he don't have to do that is a requirement as the husband. So to some degree, I understand why that situation could happen for a guy. And then the girl that's in the situation, I think it's the same thing. I may not get all the time, but I do get some of that time. And I don't have to worry about the responsibility of having to take care of him or whatever. He hits me off, physically, may hit me off depending on the kind of dude, hits me off financially. And I don't have to deal with the BS that comes along with that. So I think in that regard, both of them can see themselves as winning because they really don't owe each other anything, and they just deal with each other for the beneficial aspects of kind of being together.
Ooh, man, give
So
the money piece. Like the reason I have an issue with the money piece because like I'm
hang
not.
on,
Go ahead. Like
because there's mistaken hit on something really great. I just want to add another layer to it before you respond. She gets the best of him. She doesn't get all of him, but she gets the best of him. When she gets time with him, it's quality time. When she gets vulnerability from him, it's full vulnerability. When she gets the best of him. Whereas the wife gets all of him, good and bad. So the wife has the responsibility of needing to balance it out and still be able to maintain love and respect for that man. The side chick doesn't have to, because she doesn't get the conversations for a couple of hours about the kids and their school and their activities instead of getting quality time that's focused on her. Right? She gets the fun, carefree, responsibility-free version of him where he's just able to have a good time. Whereas the wife gets the man who's obligated to his family. It is a beautiful thing. It's not always romantic and gushy and fun.
that's
Good
interesting.
point, Nas.
Let's read
Go
super
ahead,
chat.
AP. You had
That's a
something
really
to say.
good that's a really good point, and I'm gonna be real quick, Marcus, and you can jump in. And I just want to say this to the men that are any guys that are listening to this stream. I don't care how you compartmentalize. If you are giving your side chick money, you are cheating because you are taking provision away from your family and giving it to some random broad. Don't you give that woman any money. Because that, like, I don't care how you compartmentalize. That's
You
money
can
that
give
your
her as much
family.
as you want, but don't give her that money.
No, I'm dead. Like the way
See,
guys.
I
Go
understand
ahead.
exactly what he's saying. You see how you just don't get it? I know exactly what he's talking about.
Oh, you
The
can go
part
ahead,
of the
Marcus. I just
family that
wanted to
gives.
say that I wanted everybody out in listening land. Don't give her your money because now
There
you are
is no
cheating.
way that you're not gonna have a side chick and not come out of pocket with something.
Shit.
You know, now you may not necessarily give her like here's a stack, but there is no way that you're gonna have a side chick and not come out of pocket with some money. If you're going out to dinner, that's money. If you're ordering, like there is no way because a side chick will not. What would be the benefit to the side chick if
That was my
no
question just
nothing isn't
now.
paid?
Because I'm
Wait,
not
wait.
paying.
So,
Child,
I
unless
ain't
you're
paying
dating
for
Shirley.
nothing.
Shirley does not mind. Shirley may
so
buy you a meal.
She's not even getting a
yeah,
bologna sandwich from me.
mistaken. I think we
Mm.
really should not underestimate some of these men. Their strengths, and let's not underestimate how little some women are willing to settle for. There are men out there that have side chicks that have not had to so much as like pay for their own Uber to get there. So like let's be really honest. There are side chicks who are fitting the bill for this affair. And I think we need to include them because like yes, not all side chicks are the same, but we need to acknowledge that those side chicks exist too.
That is a
Guys,
fact.
if you spending money,
That's
you
a
got the
low
wrong
quality
side chick.
side chick. Then
No.
I'm
That could be
sorry,
a
that's a
very high
low
quality
quality
one.
side chick.
That could be a
Low quality
look.
side chick.
Look, that could be.
Mm.
I've heard of a story where this one lady, she rented like the whole conference, the business conference area of the intercontinental. It's the hotel from Coming to America where Jaffe Joe was staying. You know what I'm talking about? Is it the Intercontinental or the? It's like a real. The flags is in front for dinner every country when
The
you walk into it.
Intercontinental, like the hotel?
Yeah. So rented like the dinner, the penthouse suite, laid out all the food that you could ever imagine, offered to take the man on shopping trips and buy him cars and all type of stuff. So to say that they low quality, I mean, I wouldn't call that low quality.
It
I'm
sounds like
just
a
saying.
sugar
How
mama.
many chicks doing that though, Marcus? When we're looking at side chick,
I don't know how many doing it.
that's
I just
about
said
1%, if that. Point
Is
zero.
this the
it just
treatment you're
happens,
getting,
though.
Marcus? I'm just like,
Huh? What'd you say?
it
I
was a
didn't hear
joke.
you.
Marcus, I know you are loyal. So does anybody else want to share? We're gonna go to these super chats. Okay, super chat.
Yeah, super chats. You pull them
Super
up.
chats.
Harrison Davis for the film $5 ball. Salute. The Baron Experience, $5. I got a question for the ladies. If you found out your husband cheated on you 4 times in a year in the last 3 years, so what are we talking about, 12 times? Is that grounds for divorce? Really? Interesting.
Well,
So
okay,
even with
so
kids, you're gonna leave a man for 12 times cheating.
I don't
Would you
think you
leave him for
listen
one
to
He's
the
time?
leaving his kids. He's making that choice.
so like one of the things that and I hope I say this right. One of the things Miss Taken was talking about earlier were the vows, and we're talking about traditional vows. And in those vows, it says forsake all others. The way women view forsake, that means you leave them bitches alone. Once you have not left them bitches alone, you have broken your vow, you have broken your promise, you have broken your contract. Like
So
Look,
That is
you
and
may
also
also,
break
a
your
log off a
contract
story.
once, not twice, not three. Like, you see how many?
well,
Like,
so I'm gonna say this, right? Because I don't take it from a me stance, because like at that point, like, the vows don't really mean anything. For me, with children, you were setting the worst example of being a man to those children. If there is a daughter, you are showing her that that is the type of treatment that she needs to accept from a man, from her own partner. If there is a boy, you are setting the example that women are nothing but objects and your word means nothing, right? So it's not just about me in terms of the family. Like, you are the one setting an inappropriate example. Now, if we've had a conversation and we're engaging in polygamy, then everything is consensual. It's not cheating, right? But if you're going out of your way to lie and cheat and like attempt to hide this stuff and it's still coming out 12 times over 3 years, that's not a dynamic that's healthy for children. It really isn't. It's incredibly selfish and really destructive towards the family. So for me, I'm out. I'd rather do this on my own than to provide a terrible example.
but what if
So
it's just one side chick 4 times?
It doesn't make
That's
difference.
worse. I mean, I'm sorry. That means you gotta. To me, it's nasty if it's a different girl, but if you have a relationship with a chick and you keep going back to her, that's an issue.
So
Go get some good mushu.
hang on, AP. So I'm gonna throw the question back at you. You're looking at it from the perspective of a man. Would you tolerate that behavior from your daughter's partner, husband, boyfriend? Would you be okay with that? But you're asking somebody else.
Oh,
look, hold on. I'm gonna answer that. If my daughter came to me and said she caught her husband cheating 12 times,
Marcus.
hold on, 12 times, and they got a whole family, my advice would not be to leave. I'm gonna keep it real. I wouldn't tell them to leave.
He's gonna be like, well, you know what? The rule of thumb is 20. He didn't hit 20 yet.
No, I'm
He
not
didn't
saying
hit
that.
20 yet, so he's good.
I would not advocate for my daughter to put her anger over that incident above her family. That's just
So, what
So
conversation
what if she?
are you having with the husband? If that's the conversation you had with your daughter, what is the conversation that you're gonna have with her husband?
I don't know. It just would depend. I would have to know more about the situation, but yeah, I like
His reason is,
but
I just have needs. I like women. That's his rationale.
right,
What
bro.
is that
That's not how you
conversation?
do that. That's just not how you do that. We have a real conversation, right? I wouldn't just be championing him and saying it's cool, but I wouldn't. I think that I couldn't advocate for nobody breaking their family up behind that.
But is it? But that I agree. If he knows that can be a consequence of his behavior, if he cheated the first time, they had the discussion. She cheated the second time, they had the discussion.
Oh, y'all saying he got caught every time, 12 times, or he got the way that question is phrased? You found out he cheated on you 4 times in a year, the last 3 years. That sounds like she found out one time about all 12 times.
But, well, I think that would be even worse. But to hear all of that all at once, like, yeah, that's crazy. But what I'm saying is if the conversation was had And it was the consequence, the potential. If you do this again, I am leaving. I am leaving if you do this again. So you know what the consequence is, and yet you still choose to do that, engage in that behavior. Then at that point, that is not her breaking up the family. You have to take accountability for that. You
So
as
let me
the
ask you a question,
man,
Marcus.
you as the man is breaking up the family because she gave you a pass, let's say on the first 7 times, and just say, you know what, I realize that this is, I cannot deal with this anymore. You've done this 7 times that I know of, because in her mind, she only know about 7, but in her mind, she probably already thinking I know it's more than 7, right? So if you do this again, I am getting a divorce. I'm not going to stay in a marriage where that you're just outside doing whatever you're doing, right? I just can't. Obviously, you don't want to be married. You want to be single. So if this happens again, I'm going to give you your opportunity to be single.
All right,
And then you go out.
Mistaken.
And you do it.
Put the words together to make a sentence.
Right.
You keep.
And then you do it 5 more times. At that point, it's not her. It's you. It's you.
Okay, enough.
So
we didn't finish reading the super chats, by the way.
We're that's
yeah.
So I got stuck on that one question. All right.
So at what point does perpetual cheating hurt the family more than the family breaking up? That's my question.
That's a good question.
For me,
depends on the woman.
AP
How much can she take?
AP gave a number where he said, "What did you say, AP? Can you eloquently put that again? However you said it."
I don't know what I said. Ain't no telling what I said.
You said that you've now started cheating when you take resources and funds from your family.
Oh, right. That's really, man. I think men and women just view it very differently.
So let me ask you a question. What if she cheats one time?
No, because for a woman to cheat is different. Wait.
No,
wait,
the 12 times.
Wait.
The 12 times, not 12.
Hold on, wait. I'm gonna try to make the full point on this. I'm glad you asked, because the way women view cheating, and for a woman to actually sleep with another person, there is an emotional connect. Typically, there needs to be your wife. We're talking your wife. We're not talking.
Not these days.
Wait. We're talking your wife. We're not talking some random chick. We're talking your wife. Most cases, she has to do 2 things. Likely have to happen. 1, she has to already mentally disassociate herself from the marriage. 2, she has to have to feel some type of connection with a man. Without at least one of those 2 things being present, we understand that a female is not gonna. We'd like to understand that a female is likely not going to step out on you. So the way we view cheating from a woman is you giving up your body. And me, I have a hard time picturing somebody else conquering my mountain. Second, the way men and this is what I was talking about earlier, when we start giving up our resources to somebody else, that's when we have really crossed over into I might be feeling a little something for this chick. And so that's why I say it's 2 different it's 2 different things. I just think that it's 2 different things.
Mistake calls cap. But listen,
this is one thing I'm gonna point out. Listen, if the primary issue is the family,
right?
And you do not break up the family under any condition, then that means you need to accept the fact that if she cheated, you have to suck it up, just like you expect the woman to suck it up when you cheat. If you're preaching that the primary thing is the family and we keep the family intact at all costs.
Oh, okay.
Then
I'm gonna stand on my statement that I said about 3 weeks ago. Bet, cool, the gloves are off. There's no reason to keep up false pretenses anymore. Because what's gonna happen is I might not leave, but she gonna leave me.
So you're
Dead
saying
ass
you're going to
serious.
create the conditions for her to divorce you at that point.
Because she won't be able to stomach me just busting somebody down
But would you
in
be able to
the,
stomach
in the
her?
living room.
That's
In the
toxic.
living room,
There's some.
it will
There's
become
some
a
women.
contest.
That's
Because I'm not touching her again. I'm not
environment for the
touching her
kids,
again.
though.
Well, then she
I'm not
definitely
touching her
gonna be
again.
getting
But I
more
will.
D.
Hey, look! I'll add a lump to the bed back
I got
there.
a question for the
You
ladies.
kidding me?
Miss Take It, can I ask you a question? How many people's house have you been in your entire life?
Marky.
How many people houses?
Yeah, like when you enter into somebody's house, do you know how many people houses you've been in?
No, I can't even. I can't. No, no,
You know how many people you let into your house?
no.
So you let everybody into your house?
No,
She's
you're
been
saying
in
do
that house
I
for a
know?
long time.
Right.
In the house you live in right now, you let, like, if you was around, you say you had like 20 people that came over before that you let into your house?
That I've had 20 people in my house at one time? Absolutely.
In general. So you've had over 100 people in your home?
Probably not. I don't think 100.
Since
You think so?
the early 2000s?
The point
know.
I'm
Yeah.
mostly trying to make is that it's different when someone enters something versus entering into something. It's not the same. Like if I
that wasn't a good one, Mark.
Look, I use my finger.
A cat, but
I use my finger, right? I can stick my finger at all the mouths I want. It ain't gonna bother me none. But one person stick their finger in my mouth, I got a problem with that.
I'm not sticking
That's
my
what
finger
I'm
Disgusting.
Marcus, just stop. Let's go to the next
All
one.
right. I would love to know what the hell y'all are talking about right now.
You don't want to know. Go ahead, next one.
My hubby tap $2. No simping, fam. No, how you say it? Hey man, no simping, fam. Ladies, you looking okay today, but I ain't simping.
No, look.
Okay.
Hey, look. Let me say this, Miss Taken. You look absolutely beautiful tonight. Until you put the hat on and took it off and messed your hair up.
She does
But
look beautiful.
but you got this glow. You pregnant?
No, I just had some D.
What? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So you know that's like scientifically how that works, right? She got like all the blood is still in like her cheeks or something like that. Interesting.
So
I had to leave for that one.
Come on, get it. Come on, I'll be on this show to the wee hours. Come on, man, we gotta get it. We gotta get it.
With the pinball rolling. He
Did we do this one?
Sir shot 87
Nope,
with
that's
$2.
Oh.
Why do we feel like side chicks is winning now? Sad face. Stay alive. Doug Will with the pinball with the $5.
Thank you.
Just supporting the show. Appreciate you, Doug Will, my guy. Winners TV, $9.99, $10. At This Is Enough. When are you moving to Atlanta so I can marry your little?
You don't want to come here, honey.
Self.
I've been there. I'm not moving to Atlanta. So sorry.
Smart woman.
Yeah.
The Barron Expense $2 ball. When you said this, I know it exactly when he sent this because I looked over. When you said if you chose to cheat, then you said you didn't want that family to exist no more. His question is, how would the children even know?
So I know he doesn't have children because children know. Listen, children be picking up on things at a very young age. Children know, no matter how slick you think you are, children know before adults know. So like that game, that question is so unnecessary.
What children know what?
I believe him.
So he asked the question of, to the ladies, if you found out that your husband cheated on you 4 times a year over the last 3 years, so 12 times in total, is that grounds for divorce? I said yes, not because of the vows, not because of our personal relationship, but that you are providing a terrible example to the children for both genders. And so he's now following up with the question of how would the children know? Children know everything. They may not be able to like pinpoint what it is, but they know something is seriously off.
Oh, so you mean once the mom finds out? Because I'm like, how the hell the children gonna know?
That's
I
what
mean,
his
I don't
question
know
was.
if that's like a woman's
I
intuition
think that the
talking.
dynamic of
children
the
don't know shit.
relationship, the
But
environment,
it depends
may-
on how the man moves. Speaking from a position of being a child that grew up with a father that moved that way,
But he got caught.
me too.
That's what I'm saying.
we knew, and we
You know
tried
what?
to protect our mother, thinking that our mother was naive,
mean,
didn't know.
I
So
guess we're
we
saying it. Yeah.
absolutely.
I guess
She
we're
knew.
saying
She
it
got
under
caught.
the if a dude is hiding it and being deceptive. The only way I feel like the way I can remember people knowing is when the mom tells. Like this is something I actually wanted to talk about what AP said, where he said, if he found out she cheated, you have to understand that if it's being reported that women cheat at the same rate and cheat more, we have to include married women in that. And that means men still don't leave. And it actually isn't the way AP outlined it. What actually happens is that I think that men will naturally be like, oh, I ain't messing with her no more. That's what the F. And you're just gonna sit there and be like, okay, but if children are involved, men naturally default to, I'm not going to make them pay for their mother's mistakes. And the one thing men do that women don't do is they don't tell anybody. As long as you still have perceived control over your home, in a sense, you are safe. There are plenty of men, you just got to ask them, you got to talk to them, who said on their 18th or 19th birthday, when they found out their parents was getting a divorce and their dad was moving out of their family home, the dad put their hand on his shoulder and said, your mom did something a long time ago and I stayed because of you. But you grown now, so I can leave. Like, you know how many times we've heard that? That means that woman cheated 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but he wasn't going to do that to his son. You see what I'm saying? So men.
Why tell him now then? Why would
Yeah,
you
he
tell
shouldn't
him
have told
now?
because look, I got an experience right now with a very close person to me. Right when they broke up, he stayed with his family while he raised all his kids, provided a great home for him and all that. When they broke up, the mother gave the daughter and the son all the text messages she found, pictures, all the proof that she ever had, and now the daughter won't even speak to him. The son understands, ironically, because men understand this, but the son understands. The daughter will not speak to him. He ain't spoke to him in 3 years. If you get in that situation, don't put your kids in that shit.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, the issue with cheating is that women talk so much about it and want everybody to know that they're hurt, that we only look at cheating as a one-sided affair. Women cheat at the same rate or more. Men just understand that this is embarrassing. I told you, I got a homeboy who got divorced like 10 years ago and just told us last homecoming in 2022 that that's why they divorced. He stayed with her. She cheated again. And then, like AP said, he kept staying in there, and then she divorced him to try to get with the other guy. Of course, that didn't work out. But he didn't say anything because he was saying we're his girls. Yeah.
Do y'all think that women don't be embarrassed when their husbands or their significant others cheat?
No, so not only do what we don't want to make it about the embarrassment. I'm saying all of those feelings, such as embarrassment, are natural. The woman is going to be embarrassed. The man is going to be embarrassed. I think the thing that women do that is actually to their detriment and to the detriment of the relationship is that some women use that as grounds to involve everybody in the happenings of their relationship. That is something that men don't naturally do. My boys aren't going to find out about this because it's embarrassing. My mom is not going to find out about this because it's embarrassing. The children damn sure are not going to find out about this because the weird part is no matter what problems you have with the parent, the perception that their kids have of them is supposed to be sacred. Because just because someone cheated does not make them a bad father. Just because someone cheated does not make them a bad mother. And I would want to protect that. As infuriated as I am, does not mean she is not a kind mother. You see what I'm saying? So men think like that. But women try to destroy the image of the father.
To your point, that is actually protecting the child because the child from that point after that image of whatever they saw their father. Now, I'm not saying he in the right by doing anything. I'm just saying once you make the choice to try and actively diminish his character, at that point, after you've diminished his character, at that point, that child now has issues with men for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
So okay.
So I
hear boy doesn't though. Ironically.
So I hear y'all, and I don't necessarily disagree with y'all, right? But a couple of things that like factor in. one, how did the wife find out? Like,
Mhm.
we're using us in that question. How did we find out? If we're honest, the majority of ways that wives are finding out in this day and age is through social media. And depending on the kids' ages, they might just be as privy to that as she is. Right?
Mhm.
So, yes, in that case, I think that does make you a bad father, because you are now setting an example that this is how you move. This is how you treat your wife. And Trigger Mike, you were the person that said multiple times on this show and on others that you would not engage in cheating because you don't want to have to explain that to your children. Now, if you're in a
Mhm.
situation where you are publicly outed, which is the likely situation, right? You've now set that tone. You've now set that example for those children. That means the likelihood of your daughter picking somebody like that has now at least tripled, if not higher.
Or
That
even her cheating.
Right. Or the likelihood of your son becoming just like you has now also, like, I hear what y'all are saying in terms of like the old school where things are maybe, the side chick is calling the house and you're the one who picks up the phone, and it's more discreet.
Mhm.
Things are significantly more public now, right? I don't think it's the same conversation that we're having.
But how do we know that it's social media? Like I'm thinking it's usually somebody's phone or somebody's personal business,
Yep.
or especially for men. Like they start getting sloppy because that's usually how I've heard it usually happens. Or
Yep.
I'm sorry. In fact, this is not something that I've commonly heard that the reason why men get caught so much is because men are way better side pieces than women are. You can tell a man, I only want to do blank on Wednesday. Don't call me. I got a man. And he will follow those exact instructions for 20 years straight. But a woman will claim she only wants this, that from you. And the second she feels like she wants more, she starts breaking all the rules that you had. So that woman that keeps texting at 10 was only supposed to text before 6 a.m. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, so that's really how I think most women find out, because that
I agree.
woman starts playing outside of the guidelines y'all stated.
But
And
that
you
Right.
know
goes
why?
along with what
Mm,
Enos was, but that goes along with the social media. I know one lady who found out her man was cheating because the girl did a story post and his bag was behind her. He wasn't behind her,
Oh,
that was
you
his
mother.
bag. So
Good
she
God.
did that on purpose.
Ooh.
Like, you'll be amazed, these size chicks are trifling.
No,
Not
they
just
are. They
that,
are.
but like, I listen. Those text messages, you know what happens? They wind up on TikTok. They wind up on Instagram. Those phone calls that she decided to record that
These
you didn't
people
know
never
she was
heard of
recording.
Snapchat. What the fuck wrong with them? God damn.
No, nobody's using that anymore. You know why? Because these side chicks now want leverage, and these men are just like, thinking that these women don't move like that. And that,
Do you know there is one theory I've had, because men aren't that stupid. Some men, and it's weird because y'all said something to the effect before, some men want to get caught.
Oh, I've known
Some men
somebody
want to get caught.
who intentionally like did something so the wife could find it
Yeah, yeah.
because they didn't know how to like
Break
break
it off. Exactly.
it
Some men
off.
want to get
Yeah.
caught.
Maybe we
So,
fell in love.
or
Let's go to the next.
or they have three phones. They just got a new phone and they forgot to erase their other phone. I'm just saying
no,
some
yeah,
things
some dudes are
happen.
sloppy, but some dudes want to get caught. They literally, and that's its own kind of personal, sickness, where it's like, dude, I don't want to break the relationship off. I don't want to feel like an asshole. You know what? It's so much. People are so weird, and it just really comes back to the times that we're in. I knew someone who did that thing where it's like, I'm just gonna do it, because he tried to ask the boys for like permission to cheat, because
Jesus.
he was basically saying my marriage ain't like y'all. Oh, in fact, I'm sorry. His wife refused to work. He made an exorbitant amount of money. He's an engineer at a shipbuilding company in Virginia. Um, she's a professional student. Kept going to school for things. The lady got a law degree, didn't want to practice law. Went and got another degree, didn't want to practice that. Like, she refuses to work, and then she started like refusing to have sex with him. And so he calls the boys up. He's in the group chat, saying stuff, and we're like, dude, we're not gonna give you permission to cheat. I know what you're saying, but we're gonna be the last people to do that. So then he just started doing it in an effort to, get her to leave, because he doesn't want to have the conversation. When he tries to leave, the lady spazzes out. You know, some women are like that. You leave me, I'm saying you did blank, blank, and blank. So he's like, word, okay, well. And then, you know, he just started living that life from there. So these things are really complex. These situations are complex.
Okay, Marcus, can you?
Harrison Davis for $5. Busted it wide open for a real G. Indeed. The Baron Experience, $5. Trigger Mike, is the panel exclusive or can anyone join? I would love to join one of these panels. I tried to email JR, but he didn't respond.
Shan, what do you think? You want to open it up?
Oh, you're talking about I thought he was talking about your show. Yeah, because he said Trigger Mike.
Right now.
Well, no, I think he just saw me and asked, but he's probably talking about this show.
Oh.
Shan's subtle pettiness is like top.
Not tonight, love. Look.
I put my email address in the chat so he can email me, and I'll be more than happy to put him on board.
You got to audition you first, Chief.
We got to audition for this show.
Bougie. You know she bougie.
Black. Okay, so listen. So this is the last the meat of the night. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying to get rid of it. Okay. Boom shakalaka.
Can the side chick become the main?
No.
There you go. Wait.
No, for sure.
Wait.
For sure.
Why she run away?
Huh? The side chick can become the main chick, and you're gonna go from the woman he was cheating with to the woman he's cheating on. And what kind of mess is that? You don't agree? Go ahead. I don't think that's inherently true.
I'm talking about not just with your. I'm talking about with your heart.
Yes. I say no. Hold on, Fontaine. First of all, I want to say I'm not making no excuses. You feel me? Like I'm not making the side chick okay. But sometimes men are in situations that require them to be present. Some men got households that they trying to keep up. Some men got wives that are taking care of their children, and if they leave her, their kids gonna be up, and the side chick the one that they've been in love with for the past 15, 20 years. I know men who've gone through this personally, and when the opportunity came, they moved in with the woman who had their heart. You feel me? When their kids grew up or when the wife was financially able. I'm not saying that is okay, but we got such a stigma about the other woman and how the man value her and how she value herself when you have no idea what the bounds of their relationship are and what they building over there. You feel me?
Oh, say it ain't so. What do you guys? Mark, you got that lean back going on. I'm a little nervous.
I was just watching. It was a long clip. Look, let me just say this. I think back to this compartmentalized conversation. As a man, we got the ability, like, we don't have to emotionally connect with you to have sex with you, but we can emotionally connect with you and connect with another woman too. Like, it's possible. I truly believe it's possible for men to love multiple women. I truly 100% believe that. I think that the scenario he described couldn't possibly happen. I think that could happen. But that goes back to being dishonest, though, because if he would have been honest and we moving into a new direction where different things are becoming socially acceptable. So he may have been able to make anything work. That would be my advice. Just tell the truth, bro. Live in your truth, King. Live in your truth.
Can I ask one question to you, Marcus? When you say live in your truth and just be honest, are you supposed to be honest before you act on it, or are you honest after you've acted on it?
Ideally before.
Okay, so I've joked a little bit tonight. I believe it to be a rare situation to where a side becomes a main. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying it's rare.
Mm-hmm.
The reason it's rare is because he already know what she about. She already know what he about. Like, she could be a side now, but could I be her main to some side dude that's coming over on Wednesdays? Because I know her mental state. I know what she's capable of. So in most cases, I don't think that a man going into a relationship after having his previous relationship blow up would go with the side for those reasons. Um, and the truth is, I completely agree with Marcus. Actually, you got to be honest. You got to be honest with your intentions right up front. You got to be honest if you do if you're stepping if you step out. You got to most of the time it's not pre-planned. So most of the time it's going to be after the fact. But what I have found is in my previous relationship, it wasn't the cheating, it was the lying.
Bingo.
It wasn't the cheating at all. It was definitely the lying,
Well
which
said.
I've had confirmed. But I don't think that men should just be busting down random chicks. I think that when it comes to roles and responsibilities and being responsible and accountable, we have to hold ourselves to a very different standard when it comes to dealing in a relationship. Because by keeping side chicks and doing all this other stuff, we are breaking women. We're doing that. Even if that's not her first experience, all we're doing is confirming her bias and stereotypes against men. So looking at it from that point of view, would I be okay with my daughter accepting this? The answer is absolutely not. Just absolutely not. Now, would I want her to tear up her family because dude is being sideways? No. But I know how this game works. So I will simply say, dudes, once you get married, be honest, be upfront, and try to keep yourself out of situations as best you can to prevent you from having to poke something down or becoming sexually invested in another chick. If you want to be able to bust somebody down sideways, hanging upside down from a ceiling fan, try it with your wife. You got married for a reason. It's really that simple. But back to a previous point, and I'm going to end on this. Back to a previous point, and I think it was Enos that said it. Um, it might have been mistaken. I don't remember, but it was talking about keeping yourself out of situations. This is one thing I'll say about women. If there's a ring on your finger, they know that you have the ability to commit. Women see that ability to commit and say, I want that too. And that's how a lot of those side chick situations actually start. They find the
Mm.
opportunity to touch your shoulder, to rub your back, to say something to you. And we men are idiots and like, hey girl, hey, what's going on? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll meet you over there for sure. Yeah, let's go have a drink. And that's how it starts. So
Yeah.
men, just be mindful of your actions. And I'm gonna
So
end on that.
You
the
guys, let's stay on the question was, do you think that they can move into the marriage role? Because we keep
yeah,
I know
let me
I answered that
trading.
first.
let
Can the
me
side chick become the main chick?
I answered that first
all right.
and went
So
into my soliloquy.
yeah, let me just respond to the daughters thing because we talk about a lot of idealistic stuff and men and cheating, women and cheating. This is going to go on to the end of time. I'm one of those realist type of people. What I will tell my daughter is that she does not have to accept the deception. That's it. That's the best advice I can give.
Mm.
If a man, especially knowing the nature of men, knowing the nature of high achieving men, don't accept the deception involved with that type of behavior. That is what the women that I know, especially the African women in my family, I'm pretty sure they know who they married to, which is why they hold their husbands to a certain standard dealing with their own children and their own family. But they actually decide to look the other way when it comes to the habits of men. That's what they call it. The habits of men is none of my concern. This family is my concern and his role in it. That's the way they talk. So they won't accept deception. They won't accept another woman calling their phone. They're gonna be like, "You see this bullshit here? This is too close. You better take that out there." But You don't have to stand for the deception, but be honest. And this, when women understand a man's nature, for some reason, this whole process it works better, right? Because yes, a man can present that
because
to
you're
you,
the
and
beneficiary. Like this is what bothers me about these conversations. Y'all want women to accept a man's nature, right?
yeah,
But y'all are oblivious to a woman's nature because you
I'm
feel
not
like
oblivious to a woman's
you
Hold on,
don't.
hold on. Trigger
But
Mike, hold on.
it's
What is
because
the
you
woman's
feel like
nature?
you don't have to be, right? And like you said, there's studies showing that women cheat just as much as men, right?
Mhm.
But you want a woman to be understanding of your nature, but obviously it's in her nature too if the stats are showing that both of y'all are
No,
cheating
so
at,
no, well,
at the same rate.
no,
So
so
you can't.
well, this is
I
more
don't
so
agree
what
with
I'm
that.
saying. The consequences for a woman behaving like that are far more dire. You see what I'm saying? So
That's my point.
it's not the same transaction that going on there. And I'm not saying that all men cheat either. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the attitude about cheating and the part about deception, the deceptive part of it is what destroys relationships. But let me speak to the question as Shan.
Wait, real quick. You don't think that cheating itself is deception? If the because you weren't here in the earlier part,
Yeah.
but the lying I think is a
Lying.
byproduct, right? The
Yeah, the
lying
lying.
is the byproduct of the deception to begin with, right? Because like once you tell one lie, you got to tell another.
Yep.
So the act itself of if you're married and the agreement is you're supposed to be forsaking all others, the cheating itself is the deception. And then the lying is the byproduct of the original deception.
Well, it said forsaking all others in what capacity? Because men,
Mike,
well,
stop.
hold on, no, listen. Men do not cheat with their hearts. They literally can be like, forget that
It
thing.
doesn't say forsake all others with
Well,
your
this is what I'm
heart.
saying. In that particular sense, saying that a woman cannot mess with your family dynamic, she can't call you, she can never have children from you, and this is your only purpose, that can be defined as forsaking that woman. And the second she wants more, you say, get the hell out of my face. That could be, that's like I said, if there's no deception involved, that could be acceptable, right?
No, because
Because
aren't you
that's
cheating with
deception if I'm
it,
going into the situation with the expectation that both of us are not going to have anybody else outside of us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If that's
that
the
boost mobile?
scenario, if
I,
that's
I,
the scenario, then yes, if he does it, deception is involved. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I just want to highlight further my point about how it's different. So early in the conversation, the AP gave a description of once you start spending money, then you have then cheated. Like when you, and then Trigger Mike just said, if you didn't give your heart, then you are then cheating. If you listen to how men talk about it, it's completely different than the way y'all grasp and understand it. That's the point I was trying to make, but I know the nuance is never gonna get understood unless we can do
So
like a
let me this question that Shan asked is so funny because didn't we just watch a ceremony and it was on CNN about the greatest side chick story in history becoming the Queen of England? Like, is this really a question? Is this really a question? But let me dive in further. Hold on. Let me dive in further.
She was a side chick.
Exactly. Some of y'all,
Camille?
hold on, y'all, because this actually speaks to what I'm actually going to say. Some of y'all stepmamas were side chicks and you never knew it. That's
Some of your
just
mamas.
so exactly. Some of y'all mamas were side chicks and you never knew it. Some of your stepmamas were side chicks and you never knew it. If a man can marry a woman they don't love out of duty that they need to perform for the family or the children, then absolutely the woman that they do love can 100% become the main chick. 100%. There is a lot of nuance here because I don't think people really understand the lengths men will go to obey and to do their duty. Sometimes marrying, arranged marriage, remember, happens. Sometimes marrying is out of duty, not out of love. So if he did his duty, he married the woman they wanted him to marry, and the heart wants what the heart wants. Like literally, he could not leave this woman alone. I was completely floored when I found out that this fool even set up meetings between Diana and Camilla, so Diana can learn how to serve him better, because that's the woman who knew how to serve him in always. I was like, dang, that was the most playerist move in history, by the way.
He probably had her killed.
I was like, damn, that's crazy. But no, seriously. Again, yes, because damn, what was I trying to say? For me to have an ex-girlfriend that told me, I had to deny her myself, to say, you are mine, and knowing that we were never going to be together because I was engaged, you are mine. I don't care if you're married. We will never stop fucking with each other. That to hear her say that shit out of her mouth, summarizing it, to put it simply, what she was saying is, I will be a side chick for as long as you need me to be, till I tear up this little family of yours so we can get married. Right? So if I still loved her, if I had even an ounce of feeling for her, that would have just been wife number 2 in waiting. Right? And if I decided to indulge myself with that, she'd have just been waiting. And that's how some dudes enter a relationship. They get into a relationship when they're unemotionally unavailable. That woman gets pregnant. They decide to do their duty to that woman. The other one comes back into the picture, was like, nah, I'm not standing for this. And naturally, he divorces the one he's with and gets with that one. It happens every day, and we don't even blink an eye. So that's my answer.
Now, do we believe that he's going to be faithful to that side chick who became the main?
When it's to me, I 100% believe, if you understand, again, the nature of man, if his heart never belonged to the first woman, it can absolutely be concluded that he won't cheat on that other woman. Because the nuance is, there are 2 scenarios here. Is the man a cheater? All men that cheat aren't cheaters. I'm going to write a book. Because if you understand the distinct nature in which men cheat, because what do women ask when they catch a man cheating? What is like one of the first questions they ask? Do you love her? They want to know immediately, do you love her? And most of them, like, some dudes will ball their face up like, no. But if that dude is like, yes, I do love, then you might have one of those scenarios on your hand. I've loved her. I've never stopped loving her. I'm sorry. Do you love me? And he just don't say nothing. Then yeah, absolutely, that can happen.
That was an honest answer. Thank you, Trigger Mike. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Because I know they're gonna get up here talking about, no, it never happens. That shit be happening. And I'm glad you brought up Camille, because you're right. I never even think about her. I was thinking about Gabrielle Union, Alicia Keys, all those people. I forgot about Miss Camille, Queen.
She's the queen of England. How could you possibly forget?
I forgot. You are absolutely right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just wanted to say this on the deception piece. I don't think it's cheating if you're not deceiving, right? Like, it's a consensual agreement. You don't have to like it, but you're still tolerating it, right? So if you are not lying, if you are not hiding it, if you are not manipulating the situation, it's not cheating. You can have whatever adverse feelings you want about the situation, but it's still not cheating.
Do you mean once you know it's not cheating? Is that what you're saying?
So if the lying, the manipulating, the hiding never happens, it's never cheating. So ideally, it would be beforehand, right? So like if you're saying, hey, listen, this is how I move. Or even if you took the vows that say forsake all others and you align with the definitions, the moment that changes, if you're like, hey, this has now changed for me, and that person chooses to say, it's a consensual agreement. Again, not all consensual agreements come with warm and fuzzy feelings.
Okay,
right?
no, I misunderstood what you're saying. Now I understand what you're saying. I was okay. Okay, got you.
Did anybody else want to add to that?
Super chat.
No, before the super chat, I think that, we can do the super chat, and then I have to ask this question that somebody just posted. But go ahead, super chat.
God will for the $2 ball. Camilla, what's how you say it?
Camilla.
All right. Camilla, First ballot Hall of Fame side.
First ballot.
Hall of Fame side chick. There's more. I know I at least seen my homie
Is
Big
there
Bad Boy.
more?
My father at least
Hold
got one.
up. Wait a minute.
At the Baron Experience for the film ball.
Oh, we already did him.
Okay. It's one from Big Bad Bull. Oh, wait. We didn't do that decline of testosterone either. Go back to that.
You said what?
Go back to the one. I practitioner her.
Okay, go ahead.
Be interested in y'all thoughts on declining testosterone and sperm crisis in the U.S.
You've had this conversation before. It didn't go well. I'll just say that.
Look like she a doctor.
Testosterone is always in decline. I don't understand the question.
She does look like a doctor, huh?
Well, her name is practitioner, so I would assume.
Does she mean like chemically
She's
because
a
of
doctor.
preservatives and other?
You know, I can't read because my glasses. Where are my glasses?
It says practitioner. She's a nurse practitioner, most likely.
So she's
or a general practitioner.
Yeah.
That could be true too. Hey,
we're
practitioner,
interested
can
in
you let us know
We would
your
love to
credentials
have
in
you
the chat?
join the panel.
No,
These
I'm
men-
guessing. Hey, let us know your credentials. I'm gonna say nurse practitioner because Black women, if they're a doctor, they will let you know they're a doctor.
She didn't start out by saying
if a Black woman is a doctor, that shit will say practitioner DR.
It'll say MD at the end.
Exactly, MD her. But so tell us what your credentials are. I got $5 on nurse practitioner.
Nurse practitioner is damn near a doctor. Which is very
No shade to nurse practitioner. I'm a nurse. You know, I'm a registered nurse. So I ain't gonna. I'm just administrative.
I thought you was a teacher.
Go ahead, Inaz, because I remember that.
I'm a instructor at a college, but I teach nursing courses and healthcare administration courses.
I'm first on to practitioner real quick. The last time we had to have a conversation about lowering testosterone rates and quality of sperm, especially as men grow older in age. It was received with a very adverse reaction. People were in quite denial over scientific fact. So I'll say that much.
I just want to say, I think if I was to measure and sell per ounce, I should have some of the most expensive sperm that's ever existed. I just want to put that out there. I'm just saying, the genetic stew.
Have you been tested?
For what?
Quality and count?
Oh,
that's what we're talking about.
Valium. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty good. Is that the? No, I haven't. Look, I can accidentally get you. I got 3 kids in 3 years. I know my shit working. I damn near just got to brush up next to you and your ass gonna get pregnant. I got Bluetooth sperm. This should be just.
Well, no, I think it's all related to it's all related. So if all of these, when I went to Italy, it put a lot in perspective for me. When I started asking regular questions and they started giving me answers, because it seems like they practice telling Americans how bad they are at life. So I asked them why their refrigerators were so small. And the lady looked at me with like that look like, you damn Americans, y'all so stupid. She said, food is supposed to be made fresh. You're not supposed to keep tons of food in your refrigerator to eat. That's why they walk to the market to make fresh food whenever they decide to cook a meal for their family. And I was like, damn, if you do that, there's no need to put all these damn preservatives that's lowering your sperm count, that's giving cancer to people and all of that. Like, there's no need to do that. So it has effects on both sides. If something is wrong with a man's testosterone, it's something wrong with a woman's ovaries. This is where fibroids and all the hair products giving people. Yeah, it's all like all of these things the FDA approves literally are killing us. So, it's bad on all ends for us. But I got my 2 in there before my sperm count went away. So I'm all good over here. And I don't think let y'all tell it. Black men don't have a problem with their sperm count or testosterone. Let y'all tell it.
Look, Mike, until you die, you can at least put 14 million babies in the world. How many?
She says she's a PhD.
I'm a PhD
practitioner.
In what?
Join the panel.
Why you got on a stethoscope?
Yeah, because that's more research, right? That's philosophy. That's the research.
She could
Maybe
be
scientist or something.
public health. She could be a public health PhD. Just kidding. DNP. Ah, told you it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna go that route. I'm still doing nurse leadership. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a question to the
Wait,
lady.
what's DNP and what's FNP? I don't know.
Doctorate in nurse practitioner and family nurse practitioner. She's likely a family nurse practitioner, then got her doctorate in it.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't think about that. That makes sense. So questions: do women like cheaters?
They love them. The men that they say that they want are cheaters.
Do you think it's the cheating part that they like, or do you think
Yes.
the man
So
that
here's the weirdest part about this cheating thing. Like I said, we make it a man-centric thing, but I think it's by accident that happens. Men do not report being cheated on because it's embarrassing, but women talk about men cheating more because of how you've been groomed for it to affect you, right? But your nature, this is why I said that you understand a man's nature. You are going to gravitate towards a more experienced man. I have never had more female attention in my life as to when I was getting attention from other women. So once I leave your house and I'm not picking up the phone the next day, if I was single, of course, I'm likely with another woman, and that shit eating you up inside. Because that dude that's ready to do you right, that won't cheat on you, that's calling your phone and you're icing him, you're doing that for the man that's out banging another girl while you blowing up his phone. So women do love cheaters.
So my question though is, is it the cheating that they like, or the characteristics of for example, he may be, like somebody just said, he may be an attractive man, he may be a successful man. So it's really the cheating that they like, or the men who possess those certain qualities or cheat the most? Like, go ahead, Enos, because you nodding your head.
Yeah. So I don't think it has anything to do with success. I don't think it has anything to do with money. I don't think it has anything to do with status, because, like, Pookies and Ray Rays have the reputation they do for a reason, right? Women who grow up in chaotic environments, whether it is a fatherless home or they have a poor example of male leadership, are accustomed to chaos. And so they're attracted to what's comfortable, even if it's toxic. And so the cheater becomes exciting because that's how they understand love. That if they're not chasing it, if they're not doing all these crazy acrobatics, if they're not, going through his phone, then it doesn't really feel like love. They don't identify it as love because the adrenaline rush isn't there. So if we're asking, do women love cheaters? Absolutely, they do. Because the stable guy, the guy that's going to give you everything you need, the guy that's going to fulfill all of your needs, all of that fun stuff, he's not making you do those things. And so a lot of women who aren't used to that type of dynamic, that healthy dynamic, they don't thrive in that situation. They thrive in the cheaters. They thrive in the chaos, and they continue to perpetuate the cycle that they're used to.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that either, because I know some women from some pretty solid homes that they don't give a damn.
Doesn't mean that the dynamic between the parents was good or that person was a good father, right? Like, I think that there is that assumption that, yes, a two-parent household is significantly better than a single-parent household, but there's also a huge difference between a two-parent healthy dynamic and a two-parent unhealthy dynamic. So just because we consider it solid doesn't mean we understand the inner workings of that family.
Well, I was going to say that could be a part of it, right? For some situations. But I also think it's the social conditioning that women are expected to accept that this is going to happen. And so because you already have the expectation that it's going to happen, I think there's just already a level of acceptance that the man is going to cheat. So I think that part plays a part in it as well. It's not that I'm attracted to the cheating or like the cheater. It's societal wise, I'm never going to find a man who doesn't cheat. right? The likelihood of me finding a man that does not cheat is rare. So I need to accept the fact that whoever I get with, more than likely, they're going to end up cheating on me. So I think it's a level of acceptance, not necessarily as something that they're attracted to.
Anybody else want to? Okay, practitioner came back.
I really think it makes for a good debate. I could explain a lot about what's happening in society.
Well, you have to send us an email and maybe we'll have you on the show so you can explain, my dear.
I would love that.
I would like it too, actually.
I hear what she's saying, but I don't think cheating rates have changed since marriage has existed. Like that's my thing.
I
Is
don't
like,
think so either.
sure, like testosterone declining and like sperm count and quality declining could maybe be involved in like other dynamics, like whether or not marriages are fulfilling in that way, or the rate in which people are having children. But in terms of cheating, I think when they were at their highest, people were still cheating just as much.
For sure. I agree. We have another super chat that just came back.
John the Baptist, hey, $10. These issues will never go away. Men and women will make terrible choices, but don't want the consequences of their choices. That's true.
That's true. I mean, who wants consequences? Hello? Wouldn't that be nice? Just act the damn fool, no consequences. Okay, does anybody else want to add? Because that's sorry, my daughter was about to start talking and I tried to mute it before she said anything. Did anybody else want to add something? You guys have been so lovely tonight. I need to put my braid in my hair.
No, I had a lot of fun early on. And then I just sat back and I was like, what the hell message am I sending? This isn't even the kind of message I like to put out there when it's coming from me. I just think I honestly don't understand why women accept being the side chick. I really don't. And truly, from my perspective, and it has nothing to do with the amount of money a guy makes. I I didn't give a chick shit, nothing, nothing except for a little bit of time, a little bit of conversation, and I was out. Again, this is coming from a reformed Pookie. I know what I, I know what it like how to make it happen, right? So I just know I truly don't get. I can't understand what a woman truly gets out of that specific relationship aside from a good time and maybe some solid conversation.
I have two questions. I'm sorry. One, the first question is, do you think if the woman that stays the side chick does not value herself? That's one thing. Second question, is there a difference between a Pookie, Ray Ray, and a Tyrone? And if so, please tell me the difference between these three, because I just
They are cousins, okay?
So I'm
what's the difference?
gonna tell you, I didn't hear I'm gonna answer number two first. I didn't hear those terms until I got into this space. I've never heard a man referred to as, "Oh nigga, you a Pookie." I've never heard that before until this space. So I honestly don't understand what the hell the difference would be between Tyrone and Pookie and Ray Ray. Um, regarding the first answer, I would say early on, and this is me giving the anecdotal from my experience. Early on, those would be my soft targets to start out. Those women that look like they had probably some self-esteem issues. As I got better at that craft, because there is a craft to it. There's a technique to making it making it happen. It didn't matter. It really didn't matter. no matter even what she made. And just a quick story. Never mind. I'm not going to say that on the live. I'll tell you guys after hours on.
Yeah, you
on
got
that one.
kids. You got kids. But yes, if somebody could put in a chat, Trigger Mike, you seem to be the one that know everything about everything. I need
Is
someone.
that a shot?
Even Marcus. No, I'm
No,
saying.
you have. So,
I
TM, I
just
think you
really,
have.
you be keeping your ear to the street. I just really need to know, because I know there has to be a difference between the two, because if there wasn't, we would just call everybody Pookie. But we
Okay,
say,
so look,
No,
I got it.
it's just
It's
I
this.
think they're the
I
same.
got it. It come from black pill content, right?
I was gonna say I have no idea about this.
They use the term Chad to describe the white boys that get all the women.
The
They
girl.
use the term Tyrone to describe the attractive black guys that get all the women. And
okay,
then
so that's
Pookie and Ray
Tyrone.
Ray are the hood variants of that women they're just
Now I
like
didn't know
bad boys
that.
in their mind. Like,
So is there a difference between Pookie, and is there a difference between the Ray Ray?
No, it's literally
No.
together. They say Pookie and Ray Ray together. So,
But I think that's why they might be a little different.
No, I think they're
defined
the same. Tara, they're the same.
it's defined as Pookie and Ray Ray. So
Okay.
go look on the Urban Dictionary. It's actually defined as Pookie and Ray Ray. So
Okay. See, somebody said Ray Ray a hustler. Pookie a bum. Pookie the bum. Pookie the bum. Tyrone could be the CEO. See, that's what I'm saying. I do think it's a, but okay.
Okay, I didn't know Tyrone was like the black Chad.
yeah, I've heard it used in that sense more than more.
Really?
They said Pookie and Ray Ray.
Glad you added that. Any more
Pookie and Ray
questions?
Ray are brothers. But yeah, I'm really not playing. I just thought that there was a distinct difference. Like, I know all of them are not good, but I wanted to know what was the distinct characteristics between each one. That was all. See, Leroy, somebody said, and there's a Leroy. Leroy is the secret.
Leroy is your mama's boyfriend. I mean, who calls their child Leroy? I mean, whose name is Leroy these days? Like 50s, 1950s and 60s. Y'all gotta leave these old men alone. I'm sorry. Please stop.
Have you ever heard of like the black pill content? I know y'all familiar with red pill. So black pill is pretty much this ideology that no matter how much money you have, no matter how much game you have, that your DNA lottery, what you was born with, that's what you got. And some people just aren't attractive enough to exist. So only for men though, they're not attractive enough to find people. And women tend to date 2 up or 3 up. So if you're a 5 woman, you could date a man that's at a 7 level of attractiveness, but a 5 man may not be able to get anybody because of the way the game is skewed. And a lot of them tend to like give up. Like, oh, I'm just not going to be attractive enough to ever get a mate. They got some real interesting concepts.
So I think that's interesting because like the amount of women who are into medium ugly men has like exponentially grown.
It has.
Like, so I don't understand that rhetoric. I think it's a social skills thing because there are a lot of women who intentionally seek out men who are not traditionally attractive. So like we need to get two groups of people talking.
It's not. I'm not sure. Let me not say. I'm not sure it's the women seeking them out. There's a usual pattern with the medium ugly types of dudes. So I knew a dude named Malachi that was like that. And literally,
did you just say his name and you associate?
Well, nobody knows who he is. But I mean, and AP and Marcus can attest. This is the dude that in your crew that you be like, literally, you call him ugly for no reason. Get your ugly ass off. Like, he know he ugly. You know he ugly. He funny looking. He has a unique spirit among black men, and black men take better to this understanding than black women that are ugly do. They understand that if they are missing that attractiveness characteristic, they have to make up for it in sense of humor, personality, charisma, and all of that. This dude is the most charismatic, and I think I'm a pretty smooth, charismatic dude. This dude got he got life pouring out of him all the time to the where he knows how to insert himself in any social circle, especially where there are pretty women. So when you kind of hear, or I get a text from the girl I'm dating. This is back in the day, and they be like, "My homegirl want to know what's up with your boy Malachi." And I'm like looking at the phone like, can you say again? Who?
No,
It's
that's
because that dude that can make you laugh. Like, look at Pete Davidson, man. That dude is funny looking, but he's funny to these white women. Like, you see what I'm saying? He's funny. His neck look like this. He don't take things too serious, too light. He probably in that circle having them women rolling, and he's all they think about when they get home. They belly was hurt. Like, good God, I was laughing tonight. And who did that? Pete old ugly ass. Malachi ugly ass, right? And then he never plays them too close as a tactic to say, you cute or whatever. But so he's acting like he's the attractive one. Like, he does this masterfully and will have the prettiest girl in the group asking me when I'm bringing him back out. It's the craziest thing. So some men, not a lot, but some men have mastered that, and that's how they do it.
So Trigger Mike, I didn't know if I was attractive or not, because I think I used to use the Malachi strategy.
I forget the tactic,
Marcus,
but it's an actual tactic.
Just
So I
shut up.
use the same tactic. That's how I was so successful. I moved to Houston. I knew nobody. So we would go to this club called Belvedere on Nigerian night. And, I'd put on my little blazer and my suit. And literally, the one thing men don't do is that they don't know how to literally walk up to women without flirting to just start a conversation. Because that's how I flirt. I'm not the cold approach guy. Right? So I literally would just walk up, usually to the moderately attractive one, because, the pretty one think you always trying to talk to him. So now that you're talking to the moderately attractive one, the pretty one's like, oh, he didn't talk to me. So now she's over there talking to you. So now more dude, like everybody's congregating around a brick circle. Then next thing you know, you can have your pick of any of those women. It's a tactic that men use.
So Shan, let me ask you this. If we never seen each other and this was like the party line, you don't think I would be funny and charismatic on the phone, or you'd be like, I like that guy?
I think that you have a great personality, and you have a great. I mean, you're great, but I don't think that you're medium ugly. That's the problem.
No, but I wasn't saying I was medium ugly. I was saying
that's what I got at. I'm like, what?
I didn't know. I'm saying I didn't know, because like men, we don't really look at each other and know how attractive or not attractive another man is. We can tell if women like you or not. So my thing would be, if my personality was intriguing and people gravitated to the personality, I couldn't tell you if it was because they was like, damn, I find him attractive, or I like hanging out with him, is what I was saying.
I don't agree. I think men know if another man is handsome or not handsome, because they'll be quick to be like, "Oh, that nigga ugly."
We just don't. Well, it's a human metric. Remember, symmetry is beauty. So who has the more symmetrical body, the more symmetrical face, in shape, hairline still intact? We just don't go around calling other niggas handsome, but still, yes, you're right.
Hell no, we be like, that motherfucker.
Like, so the way men do it, essentially, because we won't go around calling another dude handsome, but exactly when you need to stop trying with a woman because that guy is now interested in her. You like, I ain't got a fucking shot. But you see what I'm saying? So you absolutely do know. Any man that tells you otherwise is capping.
Pretty ass nigga.
Yeah, exactly. You pretty ass
nigga. How that ugly motherfucker got that chick? That's how we talk.
So Marcus, I have a question for you. Were women ever approaching you first?
Yeah. Don't lie.
Yeah, but hold on. When I was younger, I always shot my shot before they had an opportunity to. As I got older, it happened. But when I was younger, I wouldn't know, because I always was gonna approach. So that's
the tell, right? Like, if women are willing to approach you first, if you don't have to always put in the legwork, obviously, societal norms, you should, but if you don't always have to put in the legwork to approach first, it usually means that you're considered attractive.
Negro is 6'4",
and we don't know what you look like in your younger years. You can
So let me say this, right? Because this isn't a slight at Marcus. This is a thing towards the 6 foot plus club. Not all men who are 6 foot plus are attractive. can we be really honest about that? The majority of NBA
Yes.
players are not attractive men. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, that does, your height might be appealing in terms of like your animalistic need to procreate, but that does not mean that that person is attractive.
Right. So this was my this is furthering my point. I know you think I'm joking, but I'm so serious about this. If we playing basketball and somebody just like you because you playing basketball, then how would you know if you're attractive or not? Is what I'm saying. I
get your
the
dilemma.
taller you are, the less
Marcus.
attractive you have to be.
Marcus, I get your dilemma. You're an attractive man. Let it go. Okay.
No,
If
I'm
you're,
not.
we've told you in more ways than one that you're not medium ugly. Women find you. Now, I don't know what you look like when you were 13. You may have
I'm not
grown
talking
into
about
these
now.
looks, but I'm telling you now, without that, because we don't see you on the court, you're an attractive man. Okay.
The
Thank
only
you.
thing
I
that
appreciate
matters,
that.
Marcus, is that your wife finds you attractive. That's it. You're off the
Right,
market
right.
anyway.
You know they
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on,
you
hold
know
on.
that's a
Y'all-
goddamn lie,
y'all
Miss Piggy. It
misinterpreting
didn't
what
even
I was
sound right
saying.
coming
Y'all,
out there.
Let me
y'all
see
taking
a
it to
picture
all
of
these
your
other
wife, and
places.
it'll tell me whether
Everybody
you're
want to
attractive or
know they
not.
still got that shit. She's like, the only thing that matters now, you want to know if you can still, if you
All I literally
Listen,
was
this is a
saying
good
was that
question.
No,
men
you want to know
sometimes
if
don't know.
she
That was my
still wants you.
whole
If
Just
she don't
saying.
want you no
She
more,
ain't got
Just
no choice.
saying.
She ain't got no
Mike, hold
choice.
up, real quick. Look, do you think the woman that he's able to make his wife or gives him a little leverage? Like, for example, ladies, have you ever dated somebody and you want to know who they dated in the past so you can compare? Like,
Yeah.
what he's able to pull a little bit?
Instagram
I
told on a
100%
lot of
think
y'all
that.
with that.
That's like a strategy. You can go to a club and bring like a real beautiful woman with you. And if you went to that same club 5 times and nobody said nothing to you, after you bring a beautiful woman there, that next week, women gonna talk to you.
Yep.
That shit works.
It does.
Yep.
That
It
shit
does.
This, this is game medium ugly men need to actually learn. If you, I don't know, we need to make
somebody give me an example of who.
I'm not okay with this term.
Like, think
I'm not
about,
okay
yeah,
with
I like it.
because people are not ugly.
If we were to look at a celebrity, something that everybody know, who would be a representative of a medium ugly person?
And who do we be calling ugly? Like, damn, that nigga ugly.
Jay-Z.
Oh no, Jay-Z is what's the ugliest? Jay-Z ugly.
He is.
Jay-Z is
Lil
ugly.
Wayne ugly in the motherfucker
though.
too.
Like he has that.
No, Lil Wayne is actually that's an ugly ass.
Oh yeah, now Lil Wayne.
Yeah,
now that's a different
I
level,
think I would get Jay-Z over Lil Wayne
for sure.
if we had to go on a.
But if you put them side by side, Jay-Z immediately becomes medium ugly.
Like, look, this is how bad it is because everybody gonna be like, oh, y'all judging
People,
men.
okay,
Nah,
first of
nah.
all, people are not
Because
ugly.
if you wince a little bit when you see him standing next to Beyonce, I'll be like, it's hard not to like flinch. Like, oh shit, damn boy, that money. Look at what money can do. Good God.
And Shan, I don't agree. There are some ugly motherfuckers.
It's not. There's not. There are no ugly babies. There are no ugly people. They may not be attractive, but they're not.
You know your baby
Well,
ugly when a person look at your baby and be like, "Oh,
they so precious."
no,
But that doesn't mean
No, look, both of y'all live in Atlanta. You know they hit you. You know in Atlanta they hit you with the bless your heart. That's when you know your baby
That's
ugly.
Alabama. That's not Atlanta. They just walk past you.
Oh, come on now.
In Atlanta, they just walk like they don't see you. They don't even look at the baby. They just look and just keep on going. Look, so let's just first and foremost, there are
Flavor Flav. I think he's
not.
Flavor
That
Flav is
doesn't mean they're ugly.
Flavor Flav is
you
the
can have
ugly
an
ass
ugly
nigga to
soul. Like you could be an ugly person on the inside. I don't.
If you
think
put Flavor Flav next to who y'all said, Lil Wayne?
Jay-Z. He's in the Jay-Z.
No.
Like,
We taking Jay-Z already get bumped up to Smugly.
No, if you have a dude in your crew that look like Flavor Flav, he better be nice to everybody because he gonna get his ass cooked.
That's so rare.
Say anything out of pocket.
That looks
Between
like
Flavor
that,
Flav and Lil Wayne, though. Do Lil Wayne
Flavor Flav is ugly.
medium ugly?
So Flavor Flav,
Flavor
Flav goes out of his way to wear his hair ugly, to make ugly faces, to make ugly sound. Yeah, boy, he's living a lifestyle of ugly. So no.
You know who's medium ugly that I think we might be able to agree on is The Weeknd.
I don't even know what the
girl's
Weeknd
gonna have to
looks
do
like.
that.
I have to look him up. Hold on.
A lot of women love the weekend.
Because he got money and he sound like a girl when he talk. That's why they like him.
Let me see.
So I knew people who knew him before he hit fame across the border.
I don't think he's ugly.
Girls were turning him down before they
Yeah.
found out who he was. Because when he released his first couple mixtapes, nobody really knew what he looked
Do
like.
you know
unless
what? I have a statement to make, and I think y'all are gonna agree with this. Do you know who loves medium ugly black men? White girls.
Yeah.
They love them some medium ugly black men. I like literally prefer them type of
Because that
dude.
may be beautiful to them. Just like even when you see white men, they normally don't choose black women that black men prefer. You understand?
Yep.
So I
Yep.
think it may
That's
be
correct.
what they
Yep.
find their beauty standard for them.
Yeah, they like niggas that don't comb their hair like that. Yeah, they like them.
Now, Mike, you know what? Now I figured out where my success came from in college. When it came to white girls, you make a good point, sir.
It's college though. We can all be successful there, bro. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just no. I was successful. You don't have to do much to be successful in college. Man.
That's what I heard.
The whack dudes was getting busted down in college. Like, come on, college was
College.
So
I
anyway,
can't say without a smile on my face. It was.
You guys
disgusting.
know that Elon Musk has a robot for all you incels out there. Come and see, and
Yes.
it's under $4,000.
Yes.
You can have you a robotic wife. She doesn't speak back. She's peaceful.
Are you trying to sell this? Because you know we could get paid for this advertisement, right?
Huh?
You said it's under 4 G's.
Have you ever seen like
your heart desires? You can have more than one.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, Shan. That's women's fault, man. That's women's fault.
I'm curious if it's made out of fleshlight.
Huh?
No, look, if you look at the silicone like little dolls, that should look real. They look like real people.
No,
Yeah.
no.
If a man would rather have an intimate relationship with a doll over a real
There's
woman,
something wrong with that.
women have that women price themselves out of the market. That's what that means.
Don't put that on the women.
That's
Do
on
not
women.
do
I'm
that.
sorry.
Absolutely not.
I'm sorry. If it's so hard to get with a woman,
so
that you will
I
entertain
saw men
a doll.
on here basically say they don't like putting in the work. It's too much work. If
It
they
is
have
too
to
much
work
work.
at a
That's what I'm
certain
saying.
level to just get a woman, then they'd rather not do it. So my thing is, that's not on a woman, that's on a man. Because
Nah.
the woman that you say you end up marrying is the one that you said that you had to put in the most work for.
Well, it's not.
It
It's
don't
not
make
even about. So let's define what it means to put in work. Women are the choosiest they have ever been. Remember, women just keep moving the goalposts. All a man a lot of these men that we call incels actually do qualify for a woman. Remember, women are now putting extras on it. A man had to be financially stable, meaning a job, be able to put a roof over his own head. The bus driver qualifies for a woman. Literally, he's been working. You got dudes that have been working for the shipyard since they were 14 years old. By the time in the apprenticeship program, by the time they're 34, they've been working for 20 years straight with a notable 401k that's been sitting there making money. They've gotten several advances and all of this. He gets his haircut maybe every 3 weeks because he works so much and all that type of stuff. He'll go out and get called medium ugly, and he doesn't qualify because he only likes black women, by the way. Right? So
First
it's like,
of all, Mike,
yeah.
hold up, because we've already had this discussion. On the internet, he does not qualify. In real life, he has a wife. Don't do that.
No. Well, no. What I'm
a lot
saying
of these
is
men
that
are married.
If we're
a
looking,
lot of these men have children. So
No,
it
no, they
sounds
don't.
great for the internet.
Well, that's
but
what
when
we're
I walk
talking.
outside,
Well, in the black community, they don't. That's what we're saying. They don't. Black people aren't married. In the black community, they don't. They aren't getting
the
married.
bus drivers be married though.
They got babies though, so somebody
Yeah.
like.
Well, up until a certain age, they do. Obviously, it's basically when women start getting more desperate, a man can get a baby out of them. But under the age of 35, like over 54% of men don't have children at all. So what I'm saying is that these dudes, if they specifically like black women have priced them, selves out of the market. Like, I can't get one. I really can't get one. Being this guy, and the way I know that that's wrong is because you look at other cultures of women. Hispanic women love that dude. They love him simply because he goes to work. and he's there all the time. They love his work ethic. That makes him sexy to them. So it's a different thing in our.
Would that be an
community.
American thing? Not necessarily. So Mexicans are usually from Mexico. So would that be an American culture? Meaning it's a cultural thing. It's not just black women. I hate when people just like to say black women.
No,
You
So-
sound
no,
real Leonard,
no.
that
I
makes-
will say, well, naturally, everything that America is going through, black people suffer at the most intense rate. So white people are the second most intense, but it's always still more intense in the black community. Yeah, black and white women essentially have priced themselves out of the market. A man has to do this, that, and the third to qualify for me. But yeah, Hispanic women, they just love men that go to work. Like, and the worst part, I think they just said that they are the happiest people in the United States because their family is intact, yet they make the least amount of money.
So Mike, on this show, you have stated that your daughter will not be
Yep.
dating a bus driver.
Why do we are
Because you
taking
like
this-
to put this is the thing.
we
You-
are
the
taking
women-
this
the
so
women-
out of context,
Listen.
and I already got
don't
ahead of-
mind. Look, you're never gonna get me to disrespect a bus driver because I do believe everybody deserves love. But you're the
Yes.
same man who
Yes.
sat here and said your daughter wouldn't, but you want every woman has a dad, a father.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you know that their dad doesn't feel the same way?
Okay, let me put this thing in the counter right now. Give me 1 second.
I'm just asking because that was something that you stated. Am I wrong? Is that incorrect?
So this is what I'm saying. As it stands, because I remember I said nobody expects an upper class woman to date a bus driver. What we're saying is the bus driver is a placeholder for the average man. Traditionally, throughout history and in current times, average men marry average women. I am making a statement that average men and women must continue marrying each other. If and I also said last week,
His daughter ain't
I would not let
Well,
my
but how do
daughter
we know?
marry.
Well, what do men base average off of? It looks right. Your daughter's 5'3" right now. We can't judge, judge
My
a
daughter's
3-year-old.
5'3".
You
Oh, no.
guys stated that women are judged first by what? What's most
What?
important to a man?
Looks.
So that would be impossible to suggest at this point. Am
Wait.
I not right? Am I
do
missing
you-
something? Is that not what you guys
Yeah.
preach all the
So-
time here?
No, you're right.
So Shane,
I'm
when
lost.
he's talking about average, he's talking about
Right, but
socioeconomic.
men say they don't base love off of that. They say it constantly
this
on
is-
here that they don't
this is
mind
what
dating
I'm saying.
outside of their class, that they
This
can
is
bring a
what-
woman
exactly.
up.
I already said I will not let my daughter. Most people do not date or marry outside of their class group. So as it stands, and I'm putting it in a little calculator. Now, my wife and I put together are in the top 10% of earners in the United States of America. She cannot go down from that. But luckily for me, what we see is that, this is really what I'm saying. It's a lot deeper. That's why I'm saying I don't want to have the surface level conversation. It's a lot deeper. In America, people make the mistake of thinking family is about individuals. That's why it keeps failing. I'm sorry, marriage is about individuals. It's about family and community. So in my house, it's about family and community. My daughter will be marrying into another family of equal means, another man of equal means. She's likely going to marry somebody in the same class group that she's already known for 20 years, if I have anything to say about it, right? So that's what I'm saying. Set her up to continue to uphold the legacy that me and her mother created, the values that me and her mother created. Unfortunately, as you go down in class, people are less interested in upholding those values. That's it.
I
So
think that's pretty hard to do unless you got arranged marriages, bro.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is that's actually what people already do. The people marry the people in their same class group, like very close to their not only
They
age but
do.
their income.
I don't take that away. I completely understand what you're saying. But if you're saying that men of a certain standard on a certain path they date based on the physical, which we can't tell right now because you have a baby and we don't even want to judge after baby. It's just something you can't tell right now because if you're saying that, if we were saying money does matter, the men say money doesn't matter, but we say money, everything that you're saying makes complete good sense. Now you're saying I do understand that she's in the environment where she'll be exposed to more guys who are making a certain amount of money because of where you guys live or what she's been exposed to. But that doesn't mean that those guys will choose, because at the end of the day, they have to choose her. And what are they choosing off of? Based on you guys, you said off of looks. Right? Y'all say that all
It's
the time.
prerequisite.
Money doesn't
It's not
matter
what
when
the
it comes
choice
to
is, but you can't
I'm just
get
going about
choice.
what they say. Whether it's true or not,
Yeah,
is
So
one
you
thing.
saying if she ends up being medium ugly, then she ain't gonna get chosen?
Which she won't be.
those women get chosen too when they are feminine. That's like it's not that hard in this. Like I don't know if it's just me, but it's not that hard.
I also
Everybody in my family, let me
so
say
I
this:
think
everybody in my family is married, and they use the same formula. So that's why I don't look at it the same as everyone else.
so. I'm gonna add this too.
I
'Cause
don't. I
said
won't
this
deny
a
that she will
few.
be beautiful. Okay. I just
Oh, I
wanted to
know,
make
I
a
know.
point. Just for
So I said this a few weeks back, right? Like sometimes we oversimplify like the superficial because it does have its advantage, right? And this is exactly where it fits in. You know, Trigger Mike put up a Mother's Day post of his wife. She's a beautiful woman, right? Trigger Mike is not an ugly guy. The likelihood of that little girl being attractive is very likely because of the two of them, like the genetic pool that's there, right? So, like, when we tell people, like, oh, looks are really not that important, this is where biologically it becomes essential because her likelihood of being medium ugly has now gone down because of the looks between Trigger Mike and his wife. Does that make sense?
For sure. I just wanted to prove a point. Like, you don't know. Those are factors, whether it be Trigger Mike or anybody. Those are facts. Because I've seen two beautiful people make some kids. We like, is that your daddy? So it's really hit or miss.
we will actually. So attractiveness is what brings men in. The weirdest thing I will say though is that most men engage with the woman based on attractiveness, but marry the woman for a woman for other reasons. So sometimes the woman that you marry is not necessarily that oh wow type of woman. It's like she just became more attractive once you got to know her. That's
And
why
some
I
men
think.
like different types of
So
attractions.
does
Some
that
things are-
increase the likelihood that the husband will cheat on her if that is not who he's necessary? Marcus said yes.
We're pushing you in the corner, Mike. We're pushing you in the corner.
What I'm honestly saying is I don't think it'll
It increases the
no, it
likelihood
doesn't
he's gonna
increase.
have a side chick.
Because beauty fades no matter what you no matter what you do, it fades.
Yeah, but you want to start off with something that is very beautiful, and as it ages, it take a little longer. Versus if you're starting off with a medium ugly, it's gonna end up getting just ugly. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you start out with something that's very beautiful, the likelihood of it going all the way to the ugly status. Now they might fall to a medium ugly. You know what I'm saying? But if you start off with medium ugly,
okay. So
Nah,
I don't think I'm not sure a
do a lot
dude
of
would
stuff.
engage. I'm not sure a dude would engage with a woman he finds to be medium ugly, then find her attractive later. It's usually like, damn, she cute. There are girls who be like, she's bad. I don't think dudes marry that woman anyway. It's usually they're like, damn, she's cute. And what do we call them? Kevin Samuels called them adjustable sixes. Most men marry adjustable sixes. She's a six through and through. She's enough for you to get with her and be like, yeah, I'll get with her. And then she probably has other assets that make her an 8 to you. Then you finally get her out those big ass clothes she was wearing to the library and the hoodies and stuff. You like, God, look at her body. And then all of a sudden she's a 9 to you, right? So I think, I would never be like, she medium ugly, then be caught out, proposing to a chick like that. I don't know. I don't think that's feasible.
I think it matters on what they marrying for. If they like say they have a family tradition that requires them to marry somebody of a certain group, right? That might not be who they're attracted to. And if they do that, then I think that if they have an opportunity where the person or the type of person they're attracted to is actually in their vicinity and making advances towards them, then it may become different. Like that. That's what I was speaking to when I said, yeah, it's possible. Because you can stay with somebody and not be attracted to them. Historically, people have done it for the longest. So,
AP, that's you.
What's me?
I hear music.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry.
You got pop playing in the background.
Y'all, the AP,
That is
he
not
already
pop.
said he be jamming.
That is not pop, sir.
Kevin C, 75. Daughters reared in a certain class are not to date in or marry down. Social class, education. Finances is a real thing. Social class helps women's looks.
I can agree with that. I'm just saying what this manosphere be saying.
They not supposed to, but if that was the case, Pookie and Ray Ray wouldn't be a complaint from men.
Well,
Up
you know,
class.
that Pookie and Ray Ray is also an overrepresentation.
Thank you for saying that.
It's an overrepresentation because, like I said it last week, to put this into perspective, that education, especially the way we do it now, is not representative of anybody's intelligence. All right, because men, especially women, value education. They've turned it into something that isn't that much valuable anymore. Men value experience. I'm still that type of man. I got cousins that never went to college and are richer than everybody. Everybody. Right? They take whatever it is they're doing, they find out how to monetize it in a business sense as an independent contractor, and they continuously generate money. To me, that is somebody who's put themselves up into a higher class and has the level of intelligence to maintain conversation, to talk business. He knows how to bring something to scale. Those are valuable skills. I will allow my upper class doctor daughter to marry a owner operator of a trucking company that scaled it himself. That is what I mean when I say this dude has to have done something. You find dudes like that in these social circles all the time. Actually, it's just that they don't have the status of another doctor, so women don't want to mess with them.
I liked what he said about what it does for women's looks as well, right? Because like we're not going to pretend that people who have money aren't able to, or women who come from money aren't able to beautify themselves more, right? Like Kylie Jenner doesn't look like that naturally, right? Like,
hell no.
And she's not the only one. When you have money, you can afford, whether through surgery or products or whatever, you can afford to make yourself look prettier.
Most people aren't ugly; they're just broke.
Well, I would think most, like you said, most men marry a 6 or ends up with a 6. I find that to be true. I think women too, because if we're talking about most average people marry other average people, the group at a large fall in the average range. Yeah. So, yeah, I can agree with that.
I distinctly remember, you know how you get the same people in your Facebook feed and I distinctly remember a girl making a post about Jonathan Majors when he was on Lovecraft Country and said, this dude got like a Civil War face. Said something crazy. Like he does, right? He looks like he's been here before a long time ago. Then he becomes the guy he is now, more money, different outfits and all that talk about he kind of cute. She posted it and I was like, isn't this, because that was an epic joke. I'm like, isn't this the girl that said he had a Civil War face? It's because he got more money now. He was the dude a few months ago. You know, I was like, Jesus, it's crazy what money can do to change a woman's perception of you, right? So same thing happens both ways.
Would you feel like you got catfished if she did all that surgery and you got with her? I particularly
I wouldn't get with her. I mean, I'm sorry. That's the fakest thing on earth to me. I don't know that these dudes, I feel sorry. The same way a lot of women are behaving outside of their nature, a lot of dudes are too. And that's going to come back to bite them. Dudes really don't like these BBLs. They don't like these lip fillers. It's what's hot right now. And if you get a baby by a woman like that, and oh my gosh, I mean, you hear your homeboy say it all the time. Like, I mean, nah, I don't even want to bust her down no more. That ain't even my speed no more. Like, it's like, wow, woman that had a whole baby for you, not even sexually attracted to her enough to maintain a relationship with her. So I don't think they really like it. It's just what's hot right now. Natural, like women are doing that to their bodies so much that they're literally going to make natural women in Little House on the Prairie outfits the sexiest thing in like 20 years. They're going to make that pop in again. I promise you.
All right, let's get through the rest of these super chats really quick. All right, go ahead, Marcus.
All right, John the Baptiste, $5. Medium ugly is equal to medium or just fat. Fat.
Okay.
John the Baptiste, $5. Pookie and Ray Ray and Tyrone is the financial. No,
What do
because
you mean?
I think you would consider Jay-Z a rich pookie, right? Or does he
Yeah.
turn into a Tyrone because he got a couple of billion?
No, he's a rich pookie. I think you said it.
Yeah.
You think Jay-Z was a pookie?
Well, what's up? That's
Self-described, self-explanatory.
Mhm.
I mean, he described himself as one.
In what way? Like, what do you mean?
I'm pretty sure he said he never had a real job before. He literally hustled and did all that.
His intellect is even if you listen to things back in the day, like he
I
seems
just
like a
told
pretty,
you, women value education as formal education. I will call a man intelligent.
I didn't
that has
say
never...
formal education.
No,
I don't
no.
even know
What
if
I'm
he
saying
had
is that
formal
I
education.
will call. Listen, I will let a pimp give me advice about the mental capacity of women before I listen to a PhD.
Well, that's you.
No, what I'm saying is his experience to me is more valid than
Oh, for
somebody who read it
sure.
out of a book.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Men value
disagree with
experience.
that.
Yeah.
The
So his
reason
experience made him intelligent. His experiences made him
I
intelligent.
agree.
the reason I would say he would be considered a rich pookie is he's from the projects. He sold crack the majority of his young life. Self-proclaimed. That's not me putting this on this man. All his music is about hustling until he probably hit like 40 something. He was running in and out of chicks. I mean, everything that they say. He a hood dude. All his homies is hood dudes. He got some cases. I mean, that sounds like what they quantify as cookies. I don't think it's an intellect thing either. I think you can be an extremely intelligent person.
I see what you're saying. I get it now. Go ahead. What were you about to say, Nas? I saw your.
Oh, just that, he was still running in and out of women up until Lemonade came out.
Yeah.
The nature of man. The nature of man.
I guess some men at least.
This is saying they used to say a man is as faithful as his options. You ever heard that saying?
Well, we're gonna find out when it's reached robots. I'm gonna find out how many robots sold in a week.
Do you know the
I know
all
one.
the incels out there? Let's see how much. Let's see how fast they get off the shelf.
At least one if they're fleshlight.
Do you know the nature?
You buying it? You buying the AP?
You know what's different? Beyonce did something terrible by talking about it, because somebody's so popular talking about her husband's sexual exploits. She did a
don't know
lot
if that's true or not. She was just singing. She was capitalizing on
that
it. We
shit
don't
was
know.
true. Okay, let's say it was true. In fact, even no, you don't allude to something in your marriage.
Jay-Z admitted
made a lot
to
of money.
cheating.
Yeah, he did. So,
He admitted that he was cheating.
and you don't, yeah, if you have children, you don't play around with that. No, that shit happened. You got to just say that one happened, because you don't play around with that and your children find out and you have to answer questions about it. That matters to a father. I know y'all think we're just senseless, cold-hearted, but like, no. Your daughter asks you some shit about that, you literally gonna die a little death in your mind, like fuck. Right? So she did something very terrible because she normalized talking about your relationship out loud in public and calling it a part of the venting process. That's actually one of the biggest things that's going to make you break up from your spouse. Is
They're
putting
still
it
married.
So I want to say this, right? Because I think that if nothing else, the two of them are incredibly fantastic at packaging the way they sell their life to the public. I have a theory that it was going to come out and that this is their way of being able to control the narrative.
That's true. That's a good one, Nas.
Because there is no way that if that happened and it wasn't coming out, that she wasn't going to talk about it publicly. This was a way to control the narrative and capitalize on it financially. Because the sales behind that album,
that Lemonade album kind of did, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think we can't categorize her the way we would like a Sierra. Like it's not the same ball game.
And also, I think people tend to like music that's either very sensational or that they can relate to. I think a lot of people can relate to that album, which goes back to the comment about the nature of men. Also, y'all saying that he got a son that's like suing him in Supreme Court.
Ooh, that's his son, man. That's his son.
That's his son. Like,
I did the thing where you close your eyes and you look up real quick at it. I was like, "Ooh, that's your son." That he the pappy. He the
Let
pappy.
me look that up.
You
real
that baby's
quick. I
daddy.
ain't even
You
hear
that baby's
that.
daddy.
He getting like so. I
Go
guess
pull out the
he
picture,
been
close your eyes
fighting.
real quick, and then open it. And the first thought to come, that's his son.
He been fighting it in court for like 20 plus years. They say Shorty was born since 10 to try and get a DNA test to prove that was the father. He was.
She better not
not
leave
going.
you. She better
He's
not
actually
leave.
had to appeal to the Supreme Court of I guess of whatever area they in to force him into this paternity test.
Look, at this point, Jay-Z, unless he really thinks that's not his son, because well, did you read the what do they call it? The court document where they
Not
did
all.
that lady was detailing how they met. I was like, God, this shit seemed true. Because
She was
he's rapped
16 at
about
the time. I
that
think
name of I think Jay-Z has rapped that name in his songs before. So her court document from way back in the day had a dude's name that Jay-Z is now named. I was like, oh, that's he the
Tata.
daddy.
Tata
That's
Emory or
his
something.
cousin. It was his one of the dudes he used to sling or the dude he used to drive around with. He said he was in the seat of a Benz, such and such was driving. I think he said that name before. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Biggs.
So I think that's the name. I read it like last week.
Yeah,
But yeah, she gives a
issue with
detailed
that is-
account.
So she was 16 at the time when she got pregnant, and I think he was supposed to be like 26. So that might be why they say he was fighting that shit. I don't know. That's
Statute of limitations or whatever it's called is over now. So
I don't know. I would if I was Jay-Z, I would have to get that.
Ain't nobody on earth
test.
gonna convict Jay-Z of anything. You gonna start a civil war.
It's questionable. I just saw the pictures.
No, it looked like his kid, but
it's questionable to me.
You know what? That's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. But there ain't no way. At first, I was like, "Why you gotta do it like this, bro?" But ain't no way my daddy gonna be Jay-Z, and I'm literally the heir to that entire empire. I'm gonna raise fucking hell. I'm sorry. I'm the heir to this shit.
Me too.
So Beyonce, this is actually very common because here's the funny thing about it. My father doesn't even talk. So, he owned he's been in the entertainment business for many years. And he once said something like, these Jay-Z guy, he doesn't have any kids. This is like 2002. He's like very popular. He don't have any kids. He doesn't have a wife. And then him and my uncle were talking, and they said it in Yoruba. It was the equivalent of, oh, he's done something. Ain't nobody this famous and this clean. It was weird. How long he stayed off the radar, kept his personal business off the radar. Nobody, grown men were like, ain't no way.
Who's
this
about
famous,
Jay-Z?
this clean. Yeah, exactly. He's like, there's no way. So this every man got to stand on their record like that. So that's why it's like this will just be nature. This is just be nature. Beyonce couldn't even be mad. Happened before, you know what I mean? Because it's like nobody of his status can just come out a life clean like that, the way he did.
She seemed pretty mad, but
I heard that he had a daughter too.
Yeah, he probably got a couple kids. I mean,
yeah, he probably got more.
He counted them up and put it in his pocket and took it with him.
So, okay, I guess that goes back to what we were trying to say. If you're going to do that, how come men find it very difficult to move in a way that they don't end up getting the side chick pregnant?
This is the part that I don't get, though, Marcus.
That's what I want to know.
So we've all been that dude at some point in our lives. And I'm going to tell you right now, the way women behave when they want something from you, more than likely want to get pregnant by you, it is literally the most coercive, masterful shit you've ever seen in your life. We got to stop acting like this is something that a man can control. I can tell you right now, the one thing you shouldn't do, and I'm going to teach my son to do, is any woman, even the ones you're not serious about, like for real, do not sleep in the bed with them. Don't let them stay over. That's what that's about. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night and you think you're dreaming about having sex, and the woman literally mounted you and is throwing that thing there, and you wake up like, whoa, I don't got on a rubber. You see what I'm saying? Like, that stuff happens to men. So when a woman wants that from you, she will find a way. While you were asleep, she jumped on top of you. So, it's not always a man throwing caution to the wind like that. Women know how to get what they want out of you, right? So
it's so hard as a man being seduced to like, because it's like you lose your, like, all your blood don't be in your head.
Yeah, biologically, you almost can't fight it. biologically you can't. That's why some women, like I say, most unprotected sex incidents, I would say 50% of them, the woman initiated. Because when you're stroking it and it's protected sex, everything going on, and she'll literally pause in the middle, whisper in your ear, and pull it off right there. I would say 75% of dudes cannot resist and be like, no, I'm good. They're gonna want to finish. That
Then
is
when you
like the
start
number one
talking
trick
to
in
them,
the book.
yeah,
That's the number one trick in the book.
tough
Well, thanks
fight.
for giving
That's
all
a
the
tough
the
one.
side chicks the tricks. You know, just let
Yeah,
them
that's
know
a
what to do.
tough one.
All right, you guys. Their hair is
All right.
braided.
All right, try to keep still. Try to keep still for the rest of the show.
It is time to shut this shit down. Anybody else have anything to say? Anybody want to see? Did we have another super chat? Did we have another super chat? Let's say.
One right here. I got it.
Okay.
Kevin C. Oh, go ahead.
Kevin C. H&L. What's H&L? I don't know what that.
I think it's
Store?
Honduran. I
What
think it's
currency that is?
Honduran currency. Yeah.
Okay.
What
75. Women getting with Pookie is not about looks. Pookie is compromised and easy to control man. Looks are a bonus if he got abs, square jaw, and other. I tend to disagree with that.
They say Pookie be laying it down. That's what they said on the last
Yeah.
episode.
That's all he got time to do.
If Pookie be slanging, I don't know.
That's all he got time to do.
That's what they say.
That's
We had a
all he
whole
got time to
episode about
do.
that. Remember that episode? It was hilarious.
I think that was when somebody was like, every woman has
Yeah,
had at least one Pookie or Ray Ray in their life. And everybody was like,
They looked around.
I think that's what women say when they say they love toxicity, right? They love. I think what it is that back in the day, or when you listen to women from like the baby boomers talk, they've always had these behaviors where they'd want to get knocked down by a dude like that, but they ultimately knew that was literally you play with the fire, you don't stand in it. The women just stand in that fire, keep going back for more. Because it's like you'll never marry a dude like that. You just have a little fun, go once or twice, but then they'll, stay there because it's not just. I think it's an excitement to the experience that makes them, so like wanting to go back there all the time.
dealing with something that you shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. It's a heightened experience. I will never in my life think that one dude, simply because he's a roughneck type of dude, has more better sex than a dude. Like, because I'm like, at any time a man feels like up in his game, he can do that. Any kind of man.
Can a Pookie and Ray Ray transition, or once a Pookie Ray Ray, always a Pookie Ray Ray?
No, reform. They call them. So look at the when you read
is
books,
it more a mindset, or
when you read books like what is it, like Regency era books, and they use term like rake, like Bridgerton, like they'll call people reformed rakes. So most men that are bachelors, that are well known around the town, that women want to sleep with, eventually they know they have a name to uphold. They have to get married to continue their family name. They're called them reformed rakes.
So that question, so they can't. So then how come, and I don't give me the double standard thing, then how come, if that's the case, then a 304 can't transit? Like, can 304 transition from 304 to wife? See what I'm like? I guess that's what I'm asking. Is it a mentality, or is it
women value experience, men value purity, chastity, and
y'all value experience too? I've heard that as well.
So we value experience. So we value experience in a sex partner, maybe, but not in the woman. Like some men are weird, because this is the thing I think some men don't understand. There are men who pretend to like sexually experienced women, and the one thing I've noticed about these type of men is that when their relationship is about to end or they have a bad argument, that man will call her a hoe.
I think women would do the same thing.
He'll be like, "You a hoe? I never should have got
like you ain't ish. You ain't never been ish." If they were a Pookie Ray Ray, and then they got
so it's
better
like
in the relationship.
They're giving in to the wrong side of themselves. You started the relationship for the wrong reasons, right? So
I think it's
men should not get married to their favorite sex doll, nor should you engage in a relationship with her.
They're about to start getting their favorite sex doll. We just talked
I was
about.
about to say, but yeah,
Race,
I
honey,
would.
they
I
got dark
mean,
skin, light skin, white skin. All of it. I've seen it.
And then y'all can take the skin off and put on new skin and just switch.
You know what? I'll tell you this. The reason why most men shouldn't and don't marry the woman they find like they lust after the most is
Why,
because
Mike?
black men especially have a thing for really. Look at the most popular porn stars that are out. They are like borderline big girls. Like they have massively big asses. Men like go nuts for women like that in the sexual arena, but they won't marry that big ass one. Like, yeah, they like literally that woman will have you in and out in 30 seconds. You're like, I couldn't even last, bro. But you're not marrying that woman. What did Drake say in that song? Ass so big that it's partly embarrassing. You're not marrying that woman.
Yeah. But you do that is a lot of dudes. A lot of black men really love that shape.
A lot of dudes.
But you know it's
y'all are picturing it in y'all head right now because of where y'all looking as y'all are saying it. It's written all over your face.
Nah, you don't marry that woman though. No.
All right, guys. I'm good. Go ahead, shut it down, Shan.
Thanks, you guys, for hanging in there with us. It is past 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and Pitts I said my last name. Shit. Shantae has to take her daughter to dance tomorrow. But thank you for joining us. We will see you again next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, 9:30, sometimes 9:45, a little before 10. Love you guys. See you later.
It was no thirst trap in this.